the goblin queen with a heart full of dreams. She rules with an iron fist, or so it seems. Love keeps slipping through like sand in the breeze, falling for bad boys who bring her to her knees. Goes on, all the girls never stays true, chasing shadows in the night, don't know what to do. USA feels like a fearsome land, never saw a beaver, doesn't understand. Goblin queen's blues echo in the night, searching for love but can't find the light. Stumbling in the dark, afraid of the day, living a life in her own strange way. Lost in a world where dreams turn to dust, trusting bad boys who betray her trust. Broken hearts scattered like stars in the sky, Goblin Queen wonders why she even tries. Goons on low, the girls never stays true, chasing shadows in the night, don't know what to do. USA feels like a fearsome land, never saw a beaver, doesn't understand. Goblin Queen's blues echo in the night, searching for love but can't find the light. Stumbling in the dark, afraid of the day, living a life in her own strange way. Dreams turn to dust, trusting bad boys who betray her trust. Broken hearts scattered like stars in the sky, Goblin Queen wonders why she even tries. Lost in a world where dreams turn to dust, trusting bad boys who betray her trust. Broken hearts scattered like stars in the sky, Goblin Queen wonders why she even tries. Goblin Queen's blues echo in the night, searching for love but can't find the light. Stumbling in the dark, afraid of the day, living a life in her own strange way. In her own strange way.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing on this lovely Tuesday morning? And yeah, I decided to end the vacation finally, and let's get back to going to doing the streams of a morning. I think I've worked out a new little type. I think that'll work for me. I'm going to deviate from my new plan just a smidge this morning, because something has happened that has reached such colossal just levels of stupidity that begs, dare I say, begs my attention. And so attention I shall give. So anyway, before we get into that, I just have a question for you guys. Okay, you ready?
Hey, does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? I just made a fresh pot of coffee. Does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? Does anybody want coffee? Who wants coffee?
What the fuck is going on, man?
You want coffee?
Listen, you're fucking...
I just made coffee. Does anybody want coffee? Who wants... Buddy, you want coffee?
I need that, man.
So who wants coffee? Anybody got coffee? Who wants coffee? we got coffee. Evidently, we got a fresh pot of coffee. So come on in. We're going to have some coffee. We're going to have some time. Good morning, Milltown. Good morning, Seth. Good morning, Zero Core. And I don't know who else is lurking there. We've got some lurkers that's not in the chat, but good morning to you as well. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day today. So rather than just rambling, bambling on, let's get into what's this? You're waiting for my coffee's to finish brewing. Then Zero, my friend, if you're waiting for your coffee to finish brewing, that is a sign that you didn't get up and get it going early enough this morning, my man. Oh, the life bud is good this morning. The life gut is good this morning. So anyway, so who wants some coffee? Raise your hands this morning, guys, if you want some coffee. All right. So let's get into this. So yesterday, well, it wasn't yesterday. It was actually, hang on a second here. Let's see. When did this all start out? Because I ain't even gonna try to look for it. Doesn't matter. So doesn't matter. So get the right button here. So anyway, I think it was on Monday, maybe Sunday. This Rosanna, this is the chick that got all but hurt over a hide and go seek contest that Mr. Beast hosted. That's the root. That's where all this stuff started. Was she felt like she was finished, like I think third, but they edited it to make it look like she finished fourth, and that they even put Logan Paul over her in the line order of who finished. Anyway, so she's had a little case of the red ass ever since then. Okay. So yeah, well, Zero, she's popping for all the wrong reasons, my friend. She's popping for all the wrong reasons. So her and Dogpack404 did a collaborative video that they released. And in this video, they made some really harsh accusations. They alleged that they had gotten access to a company group chat that had Ava Tyson, I believe is the correct way to say the name, a former Mr. Beast employee and friend to Jimmy, who was recently really ran through the ringer because of their affiliation to Shadman and some questionable art. Anyway, she this cat named Dogpack404 has been making hay out of some of the stuff and here's the thing about all this, right? With Rosanna here in Dogpack, there are some really serious, what I feel is serious concerning things that in and around Mr. Beast and his corporation, right? Some questionable employees that were hired, some questionable activities, chat messages, things like that really truly needed to be questioned, that really truly needed to be examined. However, we got these two, and they have screwed this up worse than I don't even have an analogy to correctly identify how bad these two have screwed this shit up. I mean, they have really screwed this up. So, in this latest allegation, they got access to this alleged company group text messaging. And inside of there, Dogpack alleges that there potentially was some CP. And one of the pictures in question was of a young allegedly 13-year-old girl. We'll get back to that here in a second. So, Nicholas DeOrio. Now, you can love the guy, you can hate the guy. That's really up to you. What you cannot deny is that when Nick gets a hold of something, he's like a pit bull, right? He latches in and he just doggedly goes at somebody. Now, you can agree with that. You can disagree with those tactics as well, but that's just how Nick operates. So in this one, you can see here, he starts going in. You can see where he says, if you go to view stats, you can see Rosanna A/B tested what she thought was CSAM, and he's laughing, right? And you can see here, there's option 1, option 2, option 3. She did A/B test in the original, and you can see here where let's see if I can get this. Let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit on this. Is it going to let me zoom? Probably not. Let me do this here. I think if I go this or open image in new tab. Yeah, here we go. I can zoom in on this. So you can see here where you can see where it has they had these images of this alleged 13-year-old young lady. And they'd censored the picture by putting these red bars in the thumbnail, right? And you can see, so obviously they were going under the notion or under the assumption that these were inappropriate pictures. We'll go with that, right? Well, so we got an update. Okay. So Dogpile, after they put this video out and they make all these wild accusations and claims in there, right? They then, Dogpack releases, and he really took some daggers over this, right? He says, I've received the original source of the Ivanka. That's right, Ivanka Trump, right? Former First Lady of the United States, married to Donald Trump. That's who these pictures were of, right? Turns out it was from April 2000 British GQ magazine photo shoot. So it was not cheese pizza, as they say. It was not underage or any of the notion, but that's what they said in their video. That's what they said in their video, that this was, underage, and that they were passing it around. And, oh, did I mention that they took all this stuff and went to the FBI and reported this to the FBI, reported Mr. Beast and his organization to the FBI for allegedly engaging in ingesting, or basically what they did, which was look at this picture. Right? Now let that sink in. These two knotheads looked at this information, looked at these pictures, felt like it was pictures of an underage girl that was CP, made a video, included the picture in the video, blurred it out afterwards blurred it out, right? After they started catching flack for it, they blurred it out. And then they filed a report to the FBI. Kind of an out of order sequence there. If you've come across something that you think is questionable, you don't sit there and look at it. You don't sit there and study it. You don't sit there and develop and write a what do you call it, a dialogue or whatever, right? And do a video on it and release it. That's not what you do. Okay. So, but that's what they did. And then after they did all that, then they decided to maybe do a little research, right? Why should we do research? Why should we do research prior, before we do a video, before we put it out? Let's just run with it, because you know what? The narrative is better because it really puts Mr. Beast and his organization in a horrible light. That's where we want him at, right? We don't want the truth, right? We don't want the truth. We don't want what it really is. We want it to be what we want it to be. Awesome report of work there. Awesome. Anyway, Dogpack, yesterday afternoon, about 3:30 in the afternoon, according to the timestamp on this tweet, puts out. Oh, is his daughter? I thought it was his wife. Okay, well, all right. I correct that. My mistake. All right. So anyway, so it turns out this is from an April 2000 shoot in a GQ magazine, right? And she was 18 at the time. And he goes on to say, I'm sure people will flip and say I should have reversed image search the photo before going to the authorities and the media. Yeah. And before even making a freaking video, because there's nothing here. There's nothing to the video. There's absolutely positively nothing to the video that you guys made when you extract this part and pull it out. There's nothing. Nothing. Also, Roe first visited with the FBI before filming the YouTube video, another lie that's being spread. Everything was handled in accordance with the law. Was it? Was it? Well, I guess here's the good news, right? So here's the good news. So the good news is, right? The good news is that Dogpack and Roe didn't actually look and ingest any type of CP. So that's good. That's great. That's awesome, right? That's awesome that you guys didn't do anything that was illegal. More so, it's awesome that you then did not take alleged CP and put it in a video and expose how many viewers to it. That's also a good, I guess. Basically, if you look at it, these two idiots just got off lucky, right? I guess that's one way of looking at it, right? Idiots. Absolute positive idiots. So what else did Nick have to say? So Nick puts out this little Twitter video here, tags Dogpack and says, hey, just delete your channel. Lettuce mayonnaise. I don't know. Anyway, let's listen to what Nick had to say here.
Hey, this probably isn't necessary at this point because this dude's credibility is fucking shot. But I just want to point out another lie. So he says right here, we never claimed the image was in fact CP. We would not make a claim based on one source and vague legal code, okay? But they did.
To everybody, and this is just, why would a dragon do that? Looks uncomfortable.
All right, I don't want to show you this, but if you say you want to see it,
I want to do this, so
okay,
I'm gonna read it.
This is the most disgusting.
Here's the thing. Did you see her face? How gleeful and giddy it was. I want to do this. I want to do this. Y'all, she wanted to do this.
Disgusting one by far. Well, actually, the CP was probably more disgusting, but this is.
You just flat out referred to it as CP there. So you can lawyer your way out of it as much as you want. It's obvious to everybody who watches this that you thought you guys were doing the big ultimate CP review, where you guys were like, oh my God, look, the see-through top or whatever. And then your friend went and, let me pull this up really fast. Your fucking friend went and created a thumbnail with A and B testing. Look at this shit, dude. This is insane. Bro, these guys thought they had fucking CSAM. Look at this shit. Holy fuck. What a bunch of degenerates. They were doing fucking A and B tests to see which thumbnail with what they thought was CP would perform better in the algorithm. Dude, get these fucking people out.
Yeah. That's it, that's it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. Nick just roasts them, right? Eats them alive. But guys, so rather than say, hey, yeah, we We did it. We kind of messed up and da, right? What if I told you the gift that keeps on giving gives just a little bit more? Just a little bit more, guys. You ready for this? You ready for this? Here we go. This is great. So Dogpack tweets out, says, if you ever wonder why the same few names always defend Mr. Beast, the Tea Party chat group is effectively Mr. Beast's media wing. The Tea Party chat group is effectively Mr. Beast. And guess what? He links to a YouTube video here. Who do you think he links to? You ready?
Salvo Pancakes here, the digital Jesus people are calling me. Let me explain to you.
The digital Jesus. Mr. Digital Jesus himself, Salvo freaking Pancakes. He rises again. He's given credibility again. He's clouded. Here we go, goaded. This guy. Now let's not forget, Salvo, God bless him. You know, how many channels has he had yeeted because of doxing? Right? One of his channels got yeeted because he doxed Nicholas DiOrio's phone number, right? Nicholas confirmed that to us, right? That that he's the one that reported it to YouTube and got it yeeted, right? So anyway, so we've got this video here. Yeah, Digital Jesus. Yes, Super Dave. It was a great line by you know, Salvo is always quick-witted, you know. He was always quick-witted. He's just a butthole, you know. There's no other way about it. Salvo's just a butthole. You know, he kind of squandered a really golden opportunity that he had. He just squandered it, right? But anyway, so that's who Dogpack then cites is digital freaking Jesus, Salvo Pancakes. Now here's the thing. Like I was talking to in the group chat with Badwick and the other host over on Wall Smashers. And I told him, I said, mark this down. The ride from hell will return. The ride from hell will return. It will be brought back up. Because this is the story that just keeps on giving to the commentary community, right? Micro channels such as myself to the mid-sized channels. It's just go. All this is going to be because Dogpack is citing Salvo Pancakes and the T chat. That's that. Oh my God. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? Hey, how can you not cover the resurrection of the digital Jesus again? Right? You have to. We have to cover the resurrection of digital Jesus, Salvo Pancakes. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Listen, here's the deal, right? Again, I want to reemphasize something. There were some very questionable actions and behavior at the very initial heart, or the whatever you want to call it, the beginning of this whole story with Mr. Beast. There were some questionable hiring practices. There was some questionable interaction between employees at the time of Mr. Beast and possibly underage people. There's some legitimate criticism that needs to be examined, looked at, and the problem is now, because of the ineptness of Dogpack and Roe, the waters are so damn muddy and murky that things that Mr. Beast should actually be Mr. Beast should actually be criticized for, should be chastised for, right? He should be taken to task about. Can't. Because the problem is when you interject things into the storyline that are rotten apples, that have nothing, that are nothing burgers, that are just, since they're just created for the fact of sensationalism. Because I mean, who does it? You know, when you're really trying to topple a mega creator like Mr. Beast, and you run with a story about CSAM, and it's not CSAM, and it's been proven to be not CSAM, and yet the video's still up, or at least I believe the video's still up. Let me go check. I'm gonna see if that video is still up. Hang on just a second here. Oh, let's see here. How can I, hang on a second. Let me find. Oh, come on. Is the video still up? Did they take the video down? Here we go. Here. Yeah. Here's the video. Right here. This is Mr. Beast knew all along. 1,000 plus leaked messages. It's still up. It was uploaded 2 days ago. It has 853,000 views. And according to vidIQ, this video has received 8.9 times more views than what the average is for the channel. Yeah, it's still up. It's still up. Didn't take it down after it's been proven. He knew all along. What did he know? What did he know? What did he know all along? That it wasn't CP? That wasn't CSAM or whatever else you want to call it? What did he know all along? These two. Good Lord.
So here was a story from PC.
So, anyway. All right. And the thing of it is I don't believe these two can actually even be embarrassed when they get it wrong. They don't. I don't think they. I don't think they They don't grasp. They don't get it. I think they're so locked in. They're so hell bent on destroying Mr. Beast that, you know, idiots. And listen, guys, I'm not going to normally cover this type of stuff anymore on this channel. I'm just not. I save this type of stuff for wall smashers, right? That's where I feed the little reptilian brain of mine that exists to do the drama crap, is over there. I'm trying to do my best to get it to not to cover this type of stuff. I feel like there's plenty of other stuff out there to cover that is comical, informative, that type of stuff. And I'm going to leave, because there's a lot of creators that do a lot better job, I feel like, covering this type of information than myself, right? Tommy C does an excellent job of covering this type of stuff. Nicholas Diorio does an excellent job covering this stuff. You know, so who's some more? Connor, right? I think Connor does a good job covering this stuff. Who's another one that I think does a good job of just this type of, you know, stuff. I think that's where was your personal invite? We're past that in our relationship, JiJi. You don't get personal invites anymore. So anyway, I just, like I say, I just feel like there are, I believe that there are content creators out there that are more, it's not that I can't, it's not that I have necessarily toxic or horrible nuclear takes on crap. And I also believe that if, or it's my experience that when I cover that kind of stuff, it just erodes my, what little brain cells I have left anymore. And I just don't like, I like to, I don't know, just laugh, you know? And while that is comical in a sense, some of the stuff, crap that they pull, like invoking digital Jesus and resurrecting digital Jesus Sabo pancakes. You know, while that is comical and funny, in a way, the overall arcing of the story is not. And the mishandling and butchering of it is just, anyway. And that's just not what I want to do, you know? Anyway. And besides, it's early in the morning. Who wants to tune in and listen to some old man blather on about CSAM and crap like that? I wouldn't want to listen to that shit. You know? So, anyway, like I said, this was kind of, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to cover those things every now and then. There's going to be things that's going to be so ludicrous that it's going to evoke a response out of me. So I'm not going to sit there and tell you guys that I'm not, from now on, there's going to be things like that that's going to happen. Then I'm going to go, God dang, I got to talk about that shit. But this next little parts, this is what I'm aiming for more towards on my streams. And I'm going to start doing them more frequently. I've committed. I'm not going to allow myself any more excuses. I'm going to just get up and, because like I say, this format that I'm going to try to do going forward is going to allow me to, because it's not going to allow me to, I'm not going to have to go out and constantly be searching out drama stories and drama topics every morning to cover. And that's, so I can just, scroll through some things as my days, and I can just have a laundry list of little snippets and things that we can watch and what have you, right? So, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you remember there was a MMO that was put out by Amazon? What was the name of that game? New World. That was the name of the game.
So here was a story.
So New World was a MMO that Amazon released back a little while ago. And it got, there was a story that was put out that it was melting down certain GPUs. You guys remember that? Right? You guys remember that? And that news story, I think, in conjunction with the fact that the MMO itself wasn't quite ready to be released. There was some problems with MMO, but moreover, the news stories and stuff that came on, I was hitting like 1,000 VP, which was causing the issue. Exactly zero. Exactly, right? And they were like, well, you go in here, you can do this, whatever, right? Well, do you guys know who the streaming pirate is? What they call pirate software. Remember, you know who this guy is? He's everywhere these days. And anyway, a buddy of mine sent this to me. This is from his TikTok channel. I'm sure there was a YouTube short as well, but this is the format that I have it in. Thor, exactly, huh? So listen to what he said, because I didn't know this. I did not know this. And he sent this to me. I was like, oh my God, yeah. So listen to this guy.
So here was a story from PC World. It wasn't actually breaking graphics cards at all. It wasn't. There were all these reports of like hundreds and hundreds of people that were affected. Thousands of graphics cards were destroyed. It actually turned out to be 24 total graphics cards. 24 total, not series of cards, 24 total cards. And it wasn't because of New World. Even this is sensationalizing this. When the EVGA explains how Amazon's MMO bricked 24 GeForce RTX 3090s. It didn't. It was bad soldering in the MOSFET circuits. It was manufacturer error. And they replaced all of them.
So manufacturing errors on the GPUs themselves is what caused these cards to melt down. Had nothing to do with the MMO itself. And I was like, wow. That's something, you know? Because that news, I mean, like I said, there were some problems with the game itself too, right? But my buddy that sent this to me, right? He and I, we love MMOs. We play MMOs, we play survival games. That's just what we do, right? My buddy Tare. I think, I'm sure you guys, if you're longtime listeners and whatever, he and I've talked and we played games together and stuff like that, and over on my gaming channel and stuff. But anyway, he and I had talked about possibly playing the game back in the day. Because again, like I said, we're always looking for that next MMO that really piques our attention and gets our attention and stuff, right? And we were like, and then when these news stories came out about melting down cards, we were like, no, we just ain't, no, we ain't doing that. No, we're not going to do that. So, here's me and Tara were a couple of guys that could have possibly been playing the game, enjoyed it. And so anyway, there you go. There you go. Golly. And speak of the devil, you say his name 3 times and he appears in the chat. There you go. Phasmophobia. Squatching, I was talking with the Goblin Queen, Seth, and I was telling her, I said, it's that time of the year, really, I said, you, her, and Tare, myself, and, maybe my kiddo, my youngin, Nad, we could get together and do some Phasmophobia. And I could live stream it on my gaming channel. But Seth said no. I think the game scares her. And I think she's too big of a chicken to play. Even though her bestie in the whole wide world, me, right, would be there to hold her hand and help her through this trying time. And I really believe it would be I think it would be good content. Good, just hilarious, fun content. And she's adamant. She won't do it. She's just said no. And it's sad. It made me sad. I thought we could have some fun. It's Halloween. This is a time of the year where it's okay to get a little. Listen, I scream like an idiot in that game. That game scares the pee out of me. Right? It's they do a great job of the suspense in that game. Right? I don't care how many hours you have in it, Seth. I don't care. You're a scaredy cat chicken, and that's okay. I still love you. You're still my favorite, right? I should share the link to my gaming channel for those that don't have it. What? Hang on a second. Where is it at here? What happened to view your channel? Here we go. Oh God. Copy. There you go. There you go, guys. There's my gaming channel. I don't do a whole lot with it. I'll be honest with you. I don't do a whole lot with it.
Have y'all noticed that Gen X is just...
Shut up. We'll talk about you in a minute. Quit jumping the gun here, folks. Hours in the lobby count. Get her, Squatching. Get her. Listen, guys. Maybe I'm going to continue talking with her. I'm going to try to get her to capitulate and to agree to do it. And I think we can. I think between, you know, if Tare and myself and I think we can maybe coerce her. Is that the proper term? I don't want to use the term bully because that's not right. Bullying is wrong. I don't budge from peer pressure. Okay. Keep telling yourself that, you little goblin queen. Keep telling yourself that, little goblin queen. We'll see here. All right. So let's continue on. What do you say? So, woman goes off because no man offered to help her carry an AC unit. So let's listen to what this young lady has to say. And then I will give you my 2 cents.
I just had to drag my AC out of my car to my apartment building. 3 guys passed me. None of them offered to help. None. 0 out of 3. Why? Because you couldn't lift it? You were too scared to lift it? Is that why? Am I intimidating? Am I more masculine than you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. They were intimidated by your queenly aura, and your just massive frame and muscle scared them, and that's why they wouldn't do it. Or possibly they didn't want to offend offend you by implying that you were too weak and needed help carrying an AC unit. And so they didn't want to offend you, queen, and all your glory and all your power and your strength and your just femininity. They just did not want to offend you, and they feared the wrath that would ensue from just helping you. So that's probably what it was instead. Yeah. That's what I feel like it probably was. That's what I feel like it probably was. But I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. So what is this here? We got college graduation. College graduation. Okay. So let's see what we got going here.
Hello, my name is Jacob, and my concentration is environmental science and sustainable business.
Hi, my name is Lex, and my concentration is the performance of self.
Okay, so 2 people going to struggle for jobs. Okay. All right. Is this a theme?
I am Gabrielle. My concentration is creative direction, production, and narrative through the arts, performance, and written word.
Hi, my name is Karina Gomez, and my concentration is in journalism and Latin American studies with an emphasis in human rights, collective memory, and political violence.
What does even all that mean? That sounds like a lot of stuff to say. Do you want what is it? What was it? A urinalist? I was thinking more along the lines of a barista. I think that's a fancy way of saying barista, maybe. Yes? No?
Hi, my name is Stephanie Lee, and I studied the sociology of environmental communication. Hi, my name.
Your parents must be so happy with you.
My name is Reed, and I study music business and gender studies.
Music, business, and gender studies. Oh, God. Why is it I feel like you're one of the new phrases of your employment is, would you like that toasted or not?
Hi, my name is Dominique, and I studied care politics with a minor in disability studies.
Care politics with a minor in disability studies. You know, listen, you went to college, you got your degrees, you accomplished something. Problem is, every one of these people so far, I haven't heard one whatever it is that is marketable. What do you do with these things? Career politics with a minor in disabilities. How is that? Listen, I'm old. I don't understand everything in the world today. I admit that. But can somebody explain to me? Chat, help me here. You guys are young, vibrant minds. Tell me how this Gen Zer here, who studied care politics with a minor in disability studies, how does that translate into real world employment so that they can pay back? Yeah, what is disability studies? That's what I'm asking, Squatchin, because I don't know. How does that translate into a job that's going to allow her to pay back the debt that she has amassed while going and getting this degree in care politics and a minor in disability studies? Is that like a prerequisite for prosthetics? I don't know. Maybe. I would think that would be more in like engineering or something. She would work for the government, working to alter disability policy and laws. Okay. All right. Seems a little bit niche. Seems a little bit niche to me, but okay.
My name is Elliot Wright, and my concentration is art as a social mechanism.
Art as a social mechanism. My head hurts. What the hell is art as a social mechanism? What the hell is that shit? Is this one of these yahoos that's going to show up at the museum and pour the soup on the art stuff as a protest because of global warming or whatever? Is that what that is? Somebody help me here. What is this? She could also work for the private sector for the disabled people as their demo of speciality. Oh my God. God, my concentration is art. Oh God.
Hi, I'm Georgia, and my concentration is dramatic writing and theatrical adaptation.
Dramatic. Well, I wish you luck in finding a job writing for a sitcom or whatever.
My name is Noah Loyacano, and my concentration is equilibrium or negotiated paradox.
What the? Equilibrium or negotiated paradox. Equilibrium. Isn't that your ability to be standing upright and walk? So this guy got a degree in being able to stand upright and walk? What the Hang on here. Let me see something here. Equilibrium or let's see what Google says. As organizational environments become more global, dynamic, and competitive, contradictory demands intensify. To understand and explain such tensions, academics and practitioners are increasingly adopting a paradox lens. We review the paradox literature, categories and types, and highlighting fundamental debates. We then present a dynamic equilibrium model for organizing, which depicts how cynical responses to paradoxical tensions enable sustainability, peak performance in the present that endures success in the future. This review and the model provide the foundation of a theory of paradox. What the hell does that even mean in fucking language, English? What does that mean? Okay, that's just okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It also just mean balanced. Okay. Well, again, I don't see how this, whatever that is, translates into making money.
Hi, my name is Sophie Lopez, and my concentration is titled Queering and Decolonizing Theater Practice.
Queering and decolonizing theater. Isn't the arts theater, isn't it like more inclined towards... Good morning, JiJi.
Good morning.
Can you translate this shit into English?
I mean, I don't know which one you just said, but
All right. Queering
firstly,
and decolonizing theater practices.
so it is generally understood that there's a lot of practices such as entertainment, for example, that are gendered and racially skewed. Like there's a lot of like Black theater, for example, and or specifically Southern theater that is not just a performance but exclusionary to other groups. And there's a lot of interest in like combining those groups in a way that doesn't feel like pandering.
So here's a thought. And if they feel like there is, quote, let me get this right, Southern theater and Black theater.
Like
whoa, hang on.
Streetcar Named Desire would be an example of a Southern play.
Okay,
right?
okay, all right. But when was Streetcar for Desire written?
Well, yes, exactly. But we've moved forward, and you still want to keep the literature of that.
All right.
Not the racism.
Okay, hang on. So if you're going and changing to modernize it and you are rewriting it, then it's no longer that play.
I don't know that that's true for the vast majority. Like, I would agree with you if you're talking about what is it, Huckleberry Finn? Yes, I think the racism is important in that. To Kill a Mockingbird, I think the racism is important in that. But Streetcar Named Desire, I don't know about that one.
Okay, so how about this? How about we have some of these people, because I've seen something about writing in there. Why don't they just write a new play? Or new theater?
I don't know if you've noticed, but entertainment in general doesn't do new. They do.
Okay.
They redo what's
okay,
been
so
done.
all right, so there's the problem. That is in fact, that is the problem. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
And I think I speak for a portion of society. I'm not going to say a majority.
Sure.
I'm going to say a portion of society. I have zero problems with characters that are created for TV shows that are from the LGBT community. I have zero issues with them. Write those characters, create those characters, and do well with them, right? In video games, same thing, right? What I have a problem with is when they take a character that has an established story, right? An established lore, and they want to change it to placate, which is what they're doing, is placation of the LGBTQ community. How about you write a strong character that, because I understand you want people from what's the word I'm looking for? From minorities, right? That don't feel like they're represented. I understand that they want to see when they open up their comic books, or they turn on their television screens, or they go to the movies. They want to see something that they see in themselves. They see themselves on the screen, or in the comic books, or in the video games, whatever. I 1000% get that, right? But rather than recycling, taking something and rewriting it, I don't know what you're doing, but you got to stop. The crackling shit's got to stop. But taking a character and reshaping it to meet that and remolding it that's just wrong. And that's a placation to those communities that feel left out, that feel shunned. Take and write a character that is strong. I'm going to give you a perfect example of a very well created character that is from the LGBT community that nobody that I know of no one with a sane mind anyway, has a problem with, right? And that's Ellie from The Last of Us, right? Strong character, great character. Okay, she's lesbian. Who cares, right? It's not a problem, right?
Okay, that is not a problem. The issue is, and this has been the issue forever, and that's why there's more people with focus on it, is that firstly, a lot of minorities and LGBTQ were left out of things, or purposely like written out, or as we know from I don't know how many stories, things are whitewashed or straightwashed, where a character in a book or story is Japanese, Black, gay, whatever, and then they are turned into whatever the heteronormative thing are. Or when they are in there, they're in there in a stereotypical way because they're not written by somebody from that community or someone who understands that community. Like, how many gay characters are written by straight people?
Okay.
Most of them.
Then what I would say, right?
Yeah.
Is then you go back and you get people who desire to be authors or playwrights or directors, right? Or comic book artists or writers to create these characters, right?
Yeah, now they are.
Okay, but when you go back, just like the example you gave, well, Streetcar Desire. No, leave that alone. It is what it is. Now, hang on. Listen, let me finish. In any other period pieces, right, that is problematic. When you go back, you look at, well, that's problematic. Yeah, it's problematic. I'm not going to argue that. It is a period piece. It was written and done in a time when this is what it was. And you go in and you change it, does not negate or undo what it did. You want to change things, then what you do is you create new to replace, not redo.
But it doesn't work that way. And like historically speaking, what am I going to go back
why
and undo
does it not,
Shakespeare?
hang on. Why does it not work that way?
Because firstly, because the internet is a thing. Even with music right now, we know that people cannot be as popular as they used to be because we're all fragmented in terms of a market.
But here's the deal, right? The reason why it's fragmented is because
of the internet.
No, it's because you have these people who want to come in and they want to say, we want to do away with all this stuff out here because all this stuff back here is problematic.
No.
Right?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual globalization and economy. The reality is the market used to be just the US and it isn't. It's global now. So there's all these other things. So as a musician, for example, like if you came up in the 80s or 90s, like we'll never have like a Madonna basically who is ubiquitous across culture because of the internet. We're all fragmented into different market silos. So in today's age, if I wrote like Shakespeare wrote,
I disagree.
I could never be as famous. But,
I disagree. And I'm going to tell you why I disagree. Whoa. I don't give a shit what the science says. I want you to listen to me. Okay?
All right.
If a person, I don't care what country they're from. I don't care what gender they are. I don't care what their sexual preference is. I don't give a shit about any of that. If they are a talented artist, musician, playwright, whatever, and they create a work, it will transcend right? This notion, right, that
It doesn't though.
that's because there's nobody that is worth their spit anymore.
Not true. It's
it is
globalization.
100%. No, it's 100% true because they put out slop. They just gurgitate out slop.
Well, now you're just being they don't make music like they used to in my day anymore type of person. It's just not true. It's just not the reality.
That's not true either. There are musicians that are putting out songs right now that I like.
Yes, but are any of them Frank Sinatra? And it's not because Frank Sinatra was a particularly good singer or a particularly good songwriter. It's that there weren't that many,
so, all right,
and he
so
was a white cis
man.
man.
Okay, so hang on. So if you go to another country, like you go to India, there's musicians, there's a whole nother culture over there. They've got their own Bollywood, right? They got their own little Hollywood over there. All right. And they're still superstars. Same thing down in Mexico. You have superstars in Mexico.
Sure.
Right? Okay. You have superstars that are in the UK. It's no different than it was pre-internet. The only difference.
Absolutely is.
No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. You still, because even back in the 80s when we had, right, where you had pre-internet, right, you had stars, musicians that were UK, that were such great musicians, they were global. You had stars in the US, musicians that were such good musicians, they were global. They were big in the UK, they were big in Japan, right? They were big in South America, right? Pre-internet. From all these countries, from Canada. Had nothing to do with the internet. It's just the fact that the music they made was beloved, period. And what I'm telling you is
I don't think that's true.
Well, you're entitled to think that. You're entitled to think that, but I'm telling you.
But the science also agrees with me versus your theory. Look it up. It's in there. The reality is there might be stars in those countries, but they're not going to compete with America's soft power.
I'm going to ask you a question. Is it possible that these so-called scientists, right?
Yeah.
Have a preconceived idea. This is what we believe it is. And so rather than actually following the science, they extrapolate the data that gets them to where they want to go. Is that possible?
I don't think it's possible, but it is unlikely given that the scientists that we're talking about are economists.
And so economists can't be biased.
No, economists can absolutely be biased, but they tend not to be biased against racial lines. And like globalization is literally a whole section of international relations because of this. The internet changed everything. The internet changed how we fundamentally work as a society.
You know what?
Because now you have to consider the global market.
Listen, let me tell you something. You're right. The internet changed a lot of things. You know what it did? It gave people the opportunity to be a lot more discoverable, period.
Sure.
Which totally discredits your stance about how, because we're so fragmented. Wrong. The internet, if anything, has made us as exposed us to more cultures.
I can prove it to you. Hold on. I can prove it to you. Okay. How many channels were there when TV first started?
You had
there were
ABC,
like 4.
You had ABC, CBS, NBC. That's it. And PBS.
Okay.
PBS.
So what happened when cable came along and there were 100? Were those channels less popular as a result of them being worse because there were more channels?
They typically,
or were they less popular because there were more options?
No, what they generally did was they specialized in certain products.
So you're saying that, and so that you're saying the audience, which used to only have general options, then went into specific niches like channels for Black people or channels for gay people.
No,
which meant less eyes on the general.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, what are you talking about?
So you had channels that came out and they were 24-hour news, whereas before you had news at 6 in the morning, noon, and then like 10 o'clock at night, right? You had channels that specialized in news and nothing but news. And then you had channels that specialized in like cartoons. So instead of kids getting their Saturday morning cartoons, they had a channel they could go and watch cartoons any time of the day, anytime they wanted, right? Then you had
Yeah.
channels that specialized in movies. So instead of coming home and on a Saturday evening getting the Saturday evening like a movie on a Saturday or made for television movies, special events or whatever, now they just go and they turn on, they watch a movie whenever they want. That's what I'm
Right.
talking about. You still had channels like that were regional too, right? They were cable channels, but they still were regional. Like you had the one coming out of Chicago that you go up, you go up there, okay, you catch a Cubby game or you catch a Bears game possibly on it, but then you still had shows that were unique just to Chicago area. Like Bozo back in the day. They had
the local news, yeah.
right? So now you fast forward, cable is not even a thing anymore, right?
It is.
People cut
It is.
the
It's
cord.
just changed.
People cut the cord a long time ago, and the vast majority of Americans now stream their internet or their television, right? So it's not even about having cable; it's about having internet, and they have a subscription to like Netflix. So now we want to watch movies, or we want to watch cartoons, or we want to watch a sitcom. Hey, go to Netflix, or we go to Hulu, right?
Yes,
Or whatever,
but my point,
right?
but that's not what we're saying. We're saying, well, how do things become popular? When there were only 4 channels, the likelihood of you and I watching the same show was pretty high because we were forced into certain channels. When cable came out, I would have watched like women channels and you would have watched men's channels. And it wasn't that the things on the general channels were any better or worse. It was that now we had options. So similarly, the internet made other things more accessible. So rather than being forced to listen to Taylor Swift 10,000 times a day, I listen to hardstyle. Do you know how many people listen to hardstyle? Not that many.
Well, see, I disagree with you there too. I disagree with you. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was a young person and I wanted to listen to music, we had these things called cassette tapes that we bought of our favorite artist, and we played it, drive around in our cars, and we listened to cassette tapes. Or when we're at home,
How did you discover those artists, though? How did you discover those artists?
Radio.
Exactly. Which are put forth by music companies.
So guess
and they
what?
Were pushed and marketed and everything else.
So we still have radio today. We have YouTube. That's where young people probably discover 90% of the artists that they like is YouTube. And it can be
It's actually not. It's TikTok now because of TikTok. That's how things become popular.
Fine.
They get used as
TikTok.
sounds and then they become popular
whatever.
songs.
Okay, fine. But what I'm saying is and it gives smaller creators, right, an opportunity to be discovered, which can then translate into a contract deal with some major publisher, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Joe Schmo TikTok. Okay, Joe Schmo TikTok though is literally taking eyes and ears away from more general artists. And what I said was the market was fragmented. So as before, you and I would have ended up being major Taylor Swift fans because she would have been what was on the radio as opposed to now.
Wrong. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, my mom and dad exclusively listened to country stations, period. Right? I didn't want to listen to country. I wanted to listen to the rock stations. Right?
Yeah.
So, but when I was out and about, I was forced to listen to that. But it didn't mean that I ingested it. Didn't mean that I liked the artist. And it sure as hell didn't mean that I bought the tapes or cassettes.
Sure.
Right? Or
but
the
you knew the songs. But you knew the
45s.
songs. And you knew the names, which is what relevant. Because you're still hearing about them. It's also about word of mouth. Even if you didn't know an artist or you didn't know a show, your options were limited. So the chances of somebody, and word of mouth, by the way, is still the most popular, the most effective form of advertising. Me saying to you, "Hey, Rib, I just watched this show and it's really good."
But all right, and that's
more
fine.
likely to.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, too, though. Even back then, pre-internet, right?
Right.
Society was still just as segmented. Right?
It's not.
It was. You think everybody was? Hang on. I don't care how you feel. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Do you think that people we only have ABC and CBS, so that's all we're watching? No. They didn't. They went outside.
Okay, what I was going to say was I feel like my degree...
And also, right, just because I was forced to, quote, listen to country music when I was riding around with my parents, right, did not mean that I did not listen to other music as well.
Right. Right, so there was always been
So it
generational
was.
fragmentation.
What I'm saying is there's always been fragmentation, right?
Okay.
The
What
only
I'm saying to
the
you,
only difference is, right,
Mhm.
as time has progressed, instead of having, you had country and western and like rock, right, and then you had grunge, and then you had the goth, and then you had all these different genres of music over the decades that have come forward, whatever, right? And as those genres grew, so did their bass, right? Their bass grew, which then in turn made those different genres grow. So there's always been fragmentation. The only difference is the internet makes it more accessible. That's it.
Okay. Okay. And what I'm saying to you with my degree in sociology and 10 years in advertising and marketing is you're incorrect. The market is super fragmented. Most of marketing and advertising is meant to literally overcome the level of siloing and fragmentation that occurs as a result of choice.
And
today. So yes, I agree with you that the base does get bigger, but it also means that those artists that would have quit and gotten quote unquote real jobs are also able to sustain themselves, which means that fragmentation also stays for longer. It exists. It's a huge thing that's has to be overcome in many industries, that level of fragmentation.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a particular type of movies that I prefer, right?
Sure.
And I used to lament because they quit making those style of movies. They just didn't exist anymore, right?
Spaghetti westerns?
Just westerns in general, period, right?
Right.
Now, why all of a sudden is there a resurgence in where there are not only movies, but TV shows are now being made that are westerns?
Because popularity of things is cyclical.
My point is this. In this day and age,
I don't think you expected me to have an answer to that one, huh?
No, it's not that at all, right?
Okay.
It's that we have always been fragmented. Society has always been fragmented. The difference is, right?
Yeah.
That in today's, because of all the different things, and industries are constantly expanding and to try to feed those fragmentations. They have algorithms to say, okay, boom, let's feed this, right? Be it YouTube, be it TikTok, be it Twitter, whatever. They feed to keep you engaged, correct?
Yes.
All right. So that's why we have entire streaming platforms that nowadays are nothing but Westerns. Old Westerns, new Westerns.
Right.
TV series that are Western-based themes, right?
Right.
The point is that they're creating new to feed that.
Right.
What I'm telling you, and I go back to this thing here, this quote, queering and decolonization of theater practices, right? So rather than going back and trying to rewrite, to adapt, because, oh, this play is problematic, or this movie is problematic, or this literature is problematic. The solution is that these young minds that feel that this is an issue, rather than going back and trying to change all that and putting their energies into that, what they should be doing is honing their craft and writing and creating new to feed the people who have the same mindset as they do, right? That's where they should be focusing their energies and becoming good.
I think they're doing both, though.
Okay.
Aren't they? Because she didn't say she was going to go back and undo a bunch of stuff. Maybe her goal, and I don't know, right, is for them to bring
Well,
her
she
into
didn't say
a
no.
movie
She
studio.
She didn't say anything. You said.
Right.
You said that's
Right.
what they were doing.
I'm saying
I'm basing it off what you said. I don't know what the hell any of this stuff is. I don't know what the hell.
Example.
How do you decolonize theater? What the hell does that even mean?
By taking like colonizer rhetoric out of
like what?
Plays and theater.
Okay, give me an example. What is colonizing rhetoric?
Colonizing. Let me think of one, because I have to think of a media where that's actually like pretty visible and evident. My point is, a thing that movie studios do and TV shows will do is they'll bring in a consultant to tell them if something's going to come off like racist or whatever to people. Like, that's a job. Somebody has to come in and be like, I have a specialism in racial studies, and I'm going to tell you this looks super racist. And we see when they don't have that, right? Like, there was that Dove commercial. There's stuff like that that comes up all the time, right? That comes off racist or insensitive to somebody because they didn't have that particular subgroup in the room when they made, that advertisement. It happens. So she might be looking to go back and do that, but also the other thing about it is in terms of like, again, marketing. If I say to you, hey, Riv, let's go see this random play, you might be like, I don't know, well, what's it about? But if I tell you, oh, it's like a modern retelling of Romeo and Juliet, some people will be more likely to see it, even if it has all these other whistles and bangs, because they know what the base story is going to be. Two teenagers are going to fall in love and they're going to kid, and then their parents are going to be all sad. That's the baseline story, right? Does it matter the gender of any of those people? A lot of people think Mercutio, right, was in love with Romeo. I think that's right? Like, it was because they were like best friends or whatever. And so there's like room for shit there. And I'm not saying they should do that. I don't think they need to do that. I think Romeo and Juliet's been told enough times, but like, I don't know. 10 Things I Hate About You is an amazing adaptation of Tempest of the Taming of the Shrew, right? I would argue that was good because it brings it to a younger generation. So one, they're doing it for new stuff, but two, I think those stories do need to be told in a different way. And maybe, I don't think all of them, because I agree with you. I hate when they shoehorn it in, and I do think it comes off shitty when they do it. But I also think that, like, if Romeo and Juliet were Black, would it change the story in any way, shape, or form? Culturally, it should, but practically, I don't think so. I don't think it matters. I don't think it would matter necessarily if there were two women. It might be more understandable why the parents were mad, given the time period, but I don't think it would matter.
All I'm saying is this.
Yeah. Their degrees are stupid, is what you're saying. Because they're not very practical or functional.
They're not marketable. They're not marketable. That's the whole thing.
But they're not.
They're not.
They're not marketable because they're kids. Firstly.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
These colleges.
You can spin anything. What do people say? I'm not a garbage man. I'm a home sanitation specialist. Okay. You can spin anything.
My point
it's just whether or not you know how.
So here's the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
These colleges are coming up with these bullshit degrees that these young people are going because they feed into the I feel this or I feel that, rather than looking and saying, okay, what is the marketplace and where can I get a job once I get out? So they feed into the quote feelings that these people have, which their feelings have zero shit to do with anything. It's just an emotional chemical response that will pass, period. And they feed into this shit and they feed them this nonsense because they're in a protected sphere or bubble that is campus life.
Right.
And it's not the real fucking world. And so they go and they get these degrees like queering and decolonizing theater practice, which is the most idiotic fucking degree I could ever heard in my fucking life. Right? And they go out here and they come out and they've got $60, $80, $100,000 in fucking college debt. And they go out here and they look and they're like, okay, where can I get a job? And this person says, well, here's a job. You got a bachelor's degree. Here's $30,000 a year. Well, I can't live off of that and pay back. Well, you got a bullshit fucking degree at a bullshit price. Because
but the alternatives are also bullshit. If you have a degree in business, let me ask you a question as a grown person. When you meet somebody and you ask them like a college kid, you say, I have a degree in business. What does that person do for a living with a degree in business? What do they do?
I don't have a fucking clue.
Exactly. Neither do they. A lot of people get business degrees and then end up just being like, and not that there's anything wrong with this before anybody calls me on it, but like general managers at a store or something. Stop. Yeah.
Ask me what my degree is in.
What's your degree in?
I have a degree in electronic engineering.
Uh-huh.
Ask me what I do.
What do you do?
IT. Right. I went to school for IT.
So you went, so for you meaning you went to a related field.
That's right. I knew exactly
Yeah,
what I
but
was going to
they
do.
will too.
No, they don't though. They
A lot of them
don't.
don't, but that's because okay. I'll give my spicy take. My spicy take is that a lot of the younger generation, and I include millennials in this, don't know what the hell they're doing, and they do expect the world to hand it to them and tell them. And I think that is a thing. So you're correct that when you're just hearing the degree decolonization or whatever nonsense that kid said, he's not going to pitch himself that way when he goes to the market if he has any intelligence at all. I agree with you that a lot of these people might as well be specializing in underwater basket weaving, right? Which was what they would call a bullshit degree. But I also think that a lot of them do make it work. Like theoretically, I work in television and advertising with a background in sociology. Those things don't make sense, and most people who work in media don't have like a communications degree to do so. I think if you know how to market yourself, your degree could be in fucking anything because college is not about you might agree with this. College is not about them training you to do shit. They don't most of the time. It's to train you how to sit at a job for 8 hours and do what you're told. It's to make you a cog in the machine, which is an important skill that everyone should learn before anybody calls me out on that one too.
So here's the deal, right? I don't disagree with you that the majority of because that was one of the things that they, even back in the 80s when I got my degree or whatever, they said it's not so much the fact that you have straight A's. While that is good, the future employees, when you come out of here, what they're going to look at is more importantly is what is your attendance record? Yeah. Do you show up every day to class? Do you Do you set these 6 or 8 hours or whatever it is a day that you have for class? That you're taking. Class. Are you there?
For sure. Yeah. No, I agree. And just like they tell you that in high school too, but high school is still babysitting.
Okay. Sure. So here's my question then. Why is it that we tend to see so many, I'll say more probably Gen Zs than and some millennials, but I'll say more towards Gen Zs in the like the YouTube shorts or the TikToks or this, whatever else. Why do we see them griping and complaining because they have to work an 8-hour shift or a 9-hour shift and they're having to do that 4 and 5 days in a row? Why are they complaining?
You don't want me to answer that one. We're going to disagree on that one.
No, I want you to explain it to me.
Okay, I will, but you're going to have to let me finish, and you're not allowed to be mad until I'm done.
I will be quiet and let you say your piece.
Okay, so the reason why that one, and I'll put this to the side because I don't know how much of a reason it is, but COVID did break us as humans. There's a lot of science coming out about how we all collectively lost a lot of brain cells. Like we all actually have brain damage from COVID. Which is why all of the kids are feral and or can't read. Like we're in a few years when these people are like fully adults, we're gonna have a major problem of people, and we've already seen it, right? Where people just walk up to people as if they're not gonna get punched in the face. COVID is one of the reasons for it. Putting that to the side, the other thing is that in other countries, they don't make them work those kind of hours, or if they do, they're under much better conditions. So like there's a lot of countries now that have a 4-day work week and a lot of businesses that have a 4-day work week, and it has actually improved productivity. And the US in particular, and a lot of Western countries, are wealthy enough that we should be able to support that, provided that everything is not based on corporations and people at the top making more money. During the pandemic, Amazon made a fucking killing, and they made a fucking killing through price gouging, and because it was people's only options. That should not have been allowed, in my opinion, and now we're stuck at those prices because of it. So when these Gen Z kids are complaining, well, I shouldn't have to work a job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, they're right. And if they had more time, guess what they would be doing? Having kids, because right now we have a population crisis, and that's going to continue because they can't afford to have kids. So why can't they work 8 hours a day? Because unlike most of us suckers who didn't have the option, they're very hyper aware of the fact that they shouldn't have to. 1. 2, I don't think that they were raised by Gen X the way I was. So I wanted a degree in philosophy. Do you know why I don't have one? Because in college, I was worried about getting a job. And I was like, well, I don't want to live in a cardboard box, so I'm going to switch my degree. only to graduate from college and find out it wouldn't have mattered. I could have a degree in philosophy right now. I don't think it would be any different than necessarily than having a background in sociology. I like my sociology degree. I'm glad I have it. I don't think it matters. So I think that's why the younger generation bitches. One, they're broken because of COVID. Two, because of the internet, they're hyper aware of what the issue is. And three, that shit sucks. I also think they're just louder at complaining. Like, did you want to work 40 hours a week every single day of your life? I doubt it. I don't want to. I do, but I don't want to.
Okay, hang on. Can I speak? Can I? Because I don't want to cut you off, and I don't, whatever. Okay.
No, you're good.
I don't want to work 40 hours a week now. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. And I'm going to tell you why it's irrelevant.
Okay.
Because when I took the job that I took, they said, Riv, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars per year, and we expect you to work X amount of hours per day and total per week. And I said, deal. And I signed a piece of paper and I signed a contract. If that's not what they want to work, then they should have negotiated that shit up front. Now, here's the downside of that, right? That means they're going to have less money. So they're already bitching about not having enough money. Now, we can argue about corporations are greedy, corporations aren't paying, yada, yada, yada. You could do that all that nauseum. And I'll tell you, yeah, you're probably not wrong. Right? Mm-hmm. But if they are wanting a 4-day work week and all this time off, whatever, because they want to compare it to European countries, this and or whatever, then my suggestion to them would be, pack your fucking bags and move to that country. But what you're going to...
why we're able to do it here?
Because that is not how our country is structured.
Today.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Why, who established the 40-hour work week?
Wasn't it us? Wasn't it America? Like with the
unions.
When we
unions.
When we couldn't employ children anymore. Part of that was that, no?
Right. So the unions need to go in there and fight for a 4-day work week.
They do.
Okay. But the problem is this, right? A company is the bottom line that you have to always remember about a business is this. Business is going to have a certain profitability margin, period. Now, you could say that's evil corp and they're doing horrible things and they shouldn't be making that kind of money. Then here's what I would tell you. Go start your own business, make minimal profits, and put all the money in your employees' pockets.
People are doing that too. They're forming more companies that do that as well.
Okay. Then that's how it's changed. Sitting and bitching and belly aching doesn't change anything. It makes you look. But it's
both.
No, it's not. It makes you look horrible. You agreed to that job. Yeah. If that job is not what you want to do, fine. Then you shut up. You go find a company that is going to more align to what you want to be your work schedule and what you want your pay to be, right? It's that simple.
Okay, but things don't change unless you bitch, right? Like this country was founded on slavery.
Okay. Change. Okay.
How did it end? Bitching. Bitching is how it ended. I mean, war ultimately. But it started with protests. And what is protest but bitching? Protests are just bitching. Well, that's all they are.
Hang on.
Yeah.
It changes by people making different decisions. It changes by people doing different things. It's not just bitching. Sitting on your ass. No, it's not. Sitting on your ass and making TikToks don't do a damn thing.
It does, actually.
No, it doesn't.
Yes. There are studies that show that people respond things more positively with frequency. That's why advertisings play the same advertising over and over again. You need to hear ahead of time.
I don't watch ads.
Neither do I, and yet it still proliferates. My point is,
it doesn't proliferate for me.
It does because other people who do watch. That's why social engineering is a whole big industry today,
For
because
sheep,
maybe
for
you don't
sheep,
want to add.
because for sheep
Yeah.
who don't have the ability to deductive reasoning and have
No,
the brain power.
no. You don't know what social engineering is. We're all sheep. If you're a
Excuse
human,
me.
you fall
I
under
don't know what
social engineering.
I don't know what social engineering is. Is that what you just said?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Oh, you're in IT. Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay, but you're telling me
okay.
you've never had your identity stolen because of social
No.
engineering? Because I don't.
No.
Lies. I don't believe it.
I don't give a shit
I
what
don't
you
believe it.
believe.
Well,
I'm smarter than that.
I feel like now you're asking for the hackers to test that theory.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, listen, not me. The old man said it.
Okay,
I believe in all of your abilities to hack my shit.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Right?
What?
Everything that has ever happened in the United States as far as major change, right? There is a degree of talking that goes along, or bitching, or whatever you want to label it, that does occur.
Protest.
Right?
Whatever, yeah.
Sure. But for a real change to occur, right? For real things to occur, then there has to be action, right? There has to be, the words have to be put into deed. Words alone do zero. Period. Right? So
I think people are doing things though, and I think the bitching is just a byproduct of it, of them knowing about it. And so that's just the beginning of what is hopefully, or what they believe, I should say, to be the start of social change. I don't think that should be.
Okay.
I agree with you that the bitching is too much. I agree with you that to me, just like I'm sure to you, they sound hella entitled. I agree with you. However, I also think that certain things have gotten better as a result of people's bitching. Like, don't some places now have that $15 an hour minimum wage? Do I think it's really helping those people? No.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, let me tell you the problem with states raising the minimum wage to $15. They raised the minimum wage here in Arkansas a few years ago. The minimum wage was like $7.50, and then they vote the residents of Arkansas voted to raise it to 11, like a bunch of fucking dumbasses. And then they stair-stepped it, right? One year they went up to like whatever it was, I don't know, $8 or $9, and then they went to $11 an hour, right? That's so now the minimum wage in the state of Arkansas is $11. Let me tell you why that
is useless.
Useless, okay? Now, so the people that this affected primarily, right, are either entry-level positions or minimum wage jobs, right? Like, so, cashiers, stock people inside of grocery stores, fast food restaurant workers, things like that, right? So these people, and unfortunately, if you go out and look, the median age of fast food employees these days are people who are like in their 30s, right? Because we don't have blue collar jobs or semi-skilled or semi-skilled labor jobs like factory work, to where they can go in and make a little bit better wages and stuff, right? So they're relegated to having to do these jobs that really should be being done by college students and or high school students, after school job type things, right? They don't. So that's the problem. Now, so they crank up these wages to $11. Oh, this is great. Yeah, but the problem is then all these service industries, right? Restaurants, grocery stores, all that stuff just jacked their prices up because their costs just went through the roof as well. Their labor costs just went through the roof. So then they jack it. So that $11 an hour raise that all these people got was negated because their cost of existing just went up.
They could have made policy to make that so that wouldn't have been a thing. No, like that. It's just that we live in a capitalist society.
What you're saying is, all right. So what you're saying is you're going to go to your local grocery store chain, whatever it is. Say, listen, we're going to force you to pay your employees more money, but we're forbidding you from raising your prices to compensate your loss of wage, your loss of revenue.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Well, I'm not saying they're going to do that. I'm saying they should, because more money in people's pockets.
Why?
Because more money.
Why?
can I finish the sentence?
Sure.
Because more money in people's pockets means that they're going to spend said money. And if people have more money to spend, then it helps all of us collectively.
Really?
Also, I don't
So-
think that any company should be making a 200% profit every fucking year while their
Let me ask you a
employees
question.
see a
Let me
2
ask
to
you a
3%
question.
raise.
Let me ask
I
you a
don't agree
question.
with it.
I'm asking you a question,
Yeah.
JiJi. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
What part of the United States do you currently live in?
New Jersey.
Okay, you're in the tri-state area.
Yep.
Can you tell me what has been happening to industry and in New York and tri-state area up there? What's companies doing up there?
In terms of what?
Well, you tell me. Are they prospering? Are they growing and thriving, or are they leaving?
Both. It depends on the company you're talking about. But
I'm
I
talking
think during
in
the
general and
pandemic, there were-
overall.
Yeah.
Overall.
Overall, I think they were leaving, and now that's being undone again because they
Why-
want people back in the office.
Why? Okay, so
Yeah.
California. Here's another state that really jacked up their wages and stuff too, right?
Another place with a housing crisis.
Okay. Where did all those companies and industries, they all left? They're leaving California in droves. Stores closing up and leaving. And where are they going?
A lot of them are moving to Texas. Yeah.
I'm sorry, to where?
To Texas.
And why are they moving to Texas, do you think?
Because there isn't any state tax in Texas.
Because they're okay. And what are people in Texas now doing?
I don't know. What are people in Texas doing?
Getting jobs,
I don't live
better
in
jobs. Getting jobs,
Are
getting
they?
better yes, they are.
I don't know that they're. I think they're bringing the talent from other places to Texas, and it's going to be the same thing.
So there are some people that are moving, probably in the corporate structure. Yes,
Yeah.
They're moving with the companies. You're correct, right?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden,
Well, but also, can I just point out that it might be good for corporations, but the quality of life in a lot of these southern states that don't have state tax is worse than a lot of these northern states that do. Yes.
So you think the quality of life? You think the quality of life in Texas is horrible?
I think the quality of a life is well. Firstly, I don't know because I don't live in Texas, but
I mean,
they've done studies, and yeah.
Okay, so
You just want me to bring up? I'll say it. I'm moving from Jersey to Texas. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Why are you moving to Texas?
Because I don't like people, and I would like to be away from them.
Listen, here's the thing.
That's the reason. That's the real reason.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal.
They have a good golf scene, and there's less people. That's the reason.
Okay. The cost of living in Texas in comparison to living in California or the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, whatever, the cost of living is considerably lower, correct?
Yes,
okay.
It is.
All right. So corporations are coming in because the state of Texas is courting these companies saying, hey, we'll give you tax incentives. We'll give you, whatever to come here. And they are moving there in droves. They're leaving the eastern and western seaboards. They're leaving there and they're moving to and it's not just Texas. They're moving into Mississippi. They're moving into Arkansas. They're moving into Louisiana. They're moving into Georgia. They're moving into, the southern states because these states are saying, hey, we have workforce here. Hey, we will give you incentives to come here. And the companies are like, we're tired of fighting with all these restrictions and taxes, everything with these eastern states. And so they're in western states and they're moving down there. And now people who have no jobs or had low paying jobs, because again, they're working in fast food or retail or, that types, entry-level service positions. And they're being able to go to work for these companies that are manufacturing and producing things, which means they're getting manufacturing jobs, which is a pay increase, and more than likely have a career path to where they can promote up within these companies, right? Where those other industries really don't have that. And so they're having a better quality of life. Yeah, 100%. Because the bottom line.
But this is where we disagree on the structure of what it should be. One, I agree with you. The companies are doing that, but a lot of these companies, and you can look it up, are having trouble finding high quality candidates that leave in this area that have the skill set they need to perform these jobs. I agree with you that for manufacturing jobs, some of those people are getting those jobs.
Okay,
but
do you know? But do you know why they're having a hard time? Do you know why they're having a hard time?
Because they don't want to pay what the people are actually worth.
No, that's not it either.
Yeah.
No, okay. The majority of jobs and stuff right now currently that are moving into Texas are high-end, high-tech type positions, jobs, companies.
Yes,
right?
that hire remote employees for the most part.
Hang on.
Yeah.
It's a little something I know because it's kind of in my field of employment.
Yeah.
For years, myself included, even back in the late 80s, early 90s, when I first had got out of school, whatever, I could not live in Arkansas and do what I did because there was no industry, there's no market. So you have people, young people who are going to school that are getting trained in the IT, the STEM type stuff, and they're getting jobs. But the problem was there was nothing in the South to promote. So these people were having to leave and go to the East Coast, to the West Coast, right, to get those types of positions. Now, those companies, because of what they view as unprofitable restrictions that are being put onto them by the East Coast and West Coast states and laws, are moving into the South, right? So there's going to be a little bit of a curve there, but what they're going to find is that they're going to find that these people are going to come home because they still have family members that are like, hey, I can move back home now and I can actually happen with me. As more industries and stuff that support IT came into Arkansas, I just was patient and I watched and I waited. And when the opportunity presented itself, I moved back home, moved back closer to family and was able to, raise my family. So what I'm telling you is it's going to be a little bit of a lag, right? Because they're moving, whatever. They will come back home because they want to be back home closer to family for the most part. And so
I think this is where our political and government differences are going to highlight themselves, because you are promoting, or at least supporting, the idea that these companies should be allowed to do that. And I don't. I think they should be forced to stay in California and pay the taxes they're supposed to pay, is what I think, because California was what made them the money.
Okay, then guess what? You should have to stay. You should have to stay in New York, and you should have to continue to pay the high rent and the high cost of living, and you should have to stay there. You should not be allowed to move to Texas.
I think that if I was forced to stay here and as a result they had to pay me what it costs to live here.
They don't have to. No. They don't have to pay you what it costs to live there.
But they
don't have to.
Should.
No,
and again, this is what I'm saying about political policy.
Okay, so
because they can. They make enough profits too.
So here's my point, which goes back to what I said. Yeah. If young people such as yourself, right, the millennial generation, the Gen Zs, if they want to affect change, then they're going to have to literally get skin into the game. And getting on TikTok, hang on, let me finish.
Yeah.
And instead of getting on TikTok and all they're doing is bitching and moaning about it and whining about how horrible it is, how about you actually go out, do some research, find a market, something that you care about, and market it and start making money in it and grow a company and grow a business.
And that's why a lot of people want to be YouTubers instead of anything that's actually fucking useful.
Well, guess what?
What you just said is the exact reason for it.
And that is not a viable business plan. It is not.
It is for a lot of people. It is for this asshole who just crashed his McLaren for like the third time.
All right, guess what? Those guys, that is lightning in a bottle. Because for him, how many thousands of other people are out there trying to make a career out of social media that will never, ever.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. It is not a viable. It's just not viable.
And I think that if the government forced companies to pay what they're supposed to, then we would have more people who want to do useful jobs. I think there's a lot of people who would be teachers if they could live on a teacher's salary for example, but we don't pay that way because our government isn't structured that way. So you can say like, all these people they need to get skin in the game. They already have skin in the game. They have to support themselves.
All right.
So they have a right to bitch about the method by which they have to do that.
So here's a problem with the whole teaching situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got some really great teachers. I mean, they are excellent teachers, and they are underpaid. No doubt about it. Will not argue you. However, they're a small percentage. The vast majority of teachers they took it as a job as a career path because, hey, I get my summers off and I get holidays. I get a week at Thanksgiving. I get 2 weeks at Christmas, and I get my summers off. And they have zero interest or desire. They merely go through the motions, and that's it. They don't care truly about
jobs, though. And that's kind of my point. My point is that there's a lot of people who are, for example, doctors who shouldn't be, right? Because they're only doing it for the money.
Hang on, I'll ask you a question. Then why do it if you're not doing it for the money?
Because they're only doing it there's a lot of doctors who are doctors because they want to help people, because they want to heal people, because they have an interest in whatever diseases or whatever, like if they're a clinical doctor. Like there are people who become doctors because they want to help people, and there's more people who become doctors because of the money.
Let me ask you a question. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
If you do you believe that if a person wants to make serious money, do you actually believe that they are not able to do because of the way that corporate America is structured?
What do you mean by to make enough money to live? I think that's true for a lot of people. If you mean like bullshit money, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think if you work hard, you can still do it.
You can do what? You have to do what?
Work hard.
Work hard. That's my point.
I've never said that that's not the case.
That's my point. Through all this, JiJi, is if somebody is not happy with their lot in life, right? Even going back to these bullshit degrees that these young people are getting, right? If you want to be successful in this world, there's two things that you have to do. One, you have to work harder than the person standing next to you or working next to you. You have to work harder than them, and you have to sacrifice. I did. I worked hard when I was younger, and I sacrificed. I sacrificed time with my family. I sacrificed times with my wife. I sacrificed time with my kids. And I did that so that they would have everything that they needed. And I promoted I leveled up, as they said, right? To where now I coast. I don't have to.
Right.
I don't have to work hard anymore. I coast. Right. Because if I still had a desire, right, to make more money, whatever, I could do that. I could still be putting in more time, working harder than the person next to me, and I could still climb. But I don't choose to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. Right. And what I see way too many people sitting back, right, and wanting it easy without putting forth any or very little effort. And that's just not how this world is. Even if they,
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Even if we went to a 4-day work week and you're only working 32 hours a week, not the 40, and you had nice long weekends, you're still only going to rise. You're still only going to get to a level of what you're willing to effort that you put in, period.
Well, that's true of anything. That's true of anything, though. It's not about business. That's true of anything.
Well, exactly, right? You get out of it, relationships, anything. What you put into it is what you get out of it. Right?
Well, yes and no. Okay, but when we're talking about business, and this is where the thing is, you do work white collar, so I'm not sure how you still have this mentality. When I worked blue collar, I agree with you. The harder you worked, the more money I made. Ever since I became white collar, and particularly since I work in corporate America, I've worked like actual hours way less than what I used to. I used to work like easily 60, 80 hours a week. And now, because I'm in tech and because I'm in corporate America, like actual physical labor, I don't know, like 24. There's mental labor involved. I certainly have a lot of schooling and background, but
You-
it's way less now.
So you think I'm white collar?
Aren't you? Because you're in IT.
So you think just because you're in IT, it makes you white collar?
My understanding of blue collar is that it's manufacturing jobs and typically jobs that are worked hourly. That's what I understand to be blue collar.
I work hourly. I'm not salary.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, you're blue collar still. So then there you go.
I've been blue
So for
collar.
me, whether
I've
I
been
work
blue
1 hour,
collar my entire
yeah.
career, right?
Yeah,
And I worked
haven't
worked
been.
hours and hours and hours upon hours. There was a period of time where my typical work day was 7 days a week, and I would work 15 plus hours a day.
Mhm.
Okay.
Same. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that
In your world, it works that way. In mine, it doesn't. That's what we're saying.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because no, in mine, I don't know how much of my business I want to put out there. I make good money, especially for someone my age. Part of it is where I live, but all part of it is the industry. I'm not going to say I haven't worked hard. I certainly have. I worked very hard to get to the point where I can say that in a way that I agree with you that a lot of millennials and what it looks like, and I'm not going to say that that is the case. Gen Z also doesn't have that mentality. But it's literally been an issue. When I first started making like decent money, like when I was making like 80K, I couldn't believe it. I was like, they're paying me that much money to do this. Pretty much any monkey could do this particular aspect of it. And it's simply because I have the correct background. I'm in the right place. I've had the right opportunities. Like I don't think it has that much to do with those kind of things after a certain point. I think you have to work to get to that point. But once you get there, I can almost guarantee that my boss I'm starting a new role now, but my boss at my old place, I would be surprised if he worked more than 16 hours a week, realistically. It's not how it, because you don't get paid hourly, you get paid for being efficient. And that's true. Also, I know for a fact at Google, a lot of the engineers there, they work like 3 months and then they're off 9 months of the year while making 250K a year. Like it's, the money is, I don't know if you know this, it's a super fungible attribute that is not dependent on it's not really dependent on your level of effort or skill. It's a lot more about position and opportunity and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know what to say. You can make money by just living off of the dividends from your stock portfolio if you had enough money to be in it in the first place, right? That's why there's a bunch of kids of rich people who have names like Apple, right? And MacGuffin, because they never have to work a real job in their life, or a name like that would get them made fun of every single day. Like I don't think in a world that is as nepotistic as the one that we live in is one where you can look at people bitching about the cost of living and be like, well, it's just because you're not working hard enough. That's part of it. I agree with you. Part of it is they're not working hard enough, but part of it is also that our society is broken in that way. And if it were true that your level of effort were tied to your income, then the vast majority of people who work at McDonald's, pretty much any job working with the public, because I don't know if y'all know this, but the public is awful. The public is the worst thing to deal with always. Those people would be making a lot more money than they are because they're doing jobs that need to be done, and they're terrible.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So do you think a person working at McDonald's, which is the example you give, what do you think they were, let's say they work full time, they're there 40 hours a week, they work.
Yeah.
What do you think that they should be making wage wise?
Enough to live.
Well, what's that? Give me a dollar amount.
Depends where they live. Whatever the dollar amount for them to be able to support roof over their head, food on their table, and clothes on their back. That's it.
So 30,000 a year.
Depending on where they live, sure. That sounds
Okay,
all right.
hang on.
That
All
sounds good.
New York City. They live in New York City.
How much? New York City, I don't think you can live for less than 50.
Okay, so you have a McDonald's employee who is the burger guy or the burger girl, whatever. The person cooks or they're in the fries or whatever. They should be making non-managerial. We're just talking about the the general worker, right? $50,000 a year. Okay. So how many employees do you feel they would have to staff the drive-through, the front counter, and the cooking area? How many employees do you think that they would have to have generally day in and day out to man all those different positions?
Well, assuming that we're saying like 3 shifts a day and 8 people per shift, so 24 people per day, and assuming alternates, I don't know, at least 32, I imagine.
Okay, so we got 32 people that are non-managerial that we're going to pay $50,000 a year annually.
Uh-huh.
Why do you think
You're doing the math because I don't have a calculator.
Okay, so well, no. Why do you think your Big Mac just went up in price?
I think that my Big Mac could stay the same price if McDonald's took a hit on their profit share, and they should because they're poisoning America with their food.
So here's the problem, right?
Which is, by the way, costing us more in Medicare.
Do you
and
think?
healthcare
Do you
overall.
think? Do you think? Do you think McDonald's owns every McDonald's that's out there, or do you think it's entrepreneurs that have bought the franchise and is running it?
I think that the majority are franchise, but McDonald's can still control their pricing, or they can refuse to give them all of their media, and then they don't give them the franchising license. They're not run by McDonald's, but they're still managed by McDonald's.
Okay, so so the problem is as a franchise, you pay a franchise fee, right? Okay, and then you are required to purchase certain products through a certain vendors, like the hamburger patties, the buns, the fries, the paper products, right, to serve them in the cartons,
the mac sauce,
right, all that stuff, right. Now, local produce, you like tomatoes, onions, pickles, lettuce, things like that, you probably can source locally, right? That's not okay. But that Big Mac, right? If they're having that many employees that they're having to pay $50,000, right? That franchisee, to make it to where it's, because it's not just the $50,000 that he's paying each one of these people as a salary, right? He's also, or the franchise owner is also having to carry insurance on the place, electricity, right? All these other expenses, right? Marketing, all the stuff that comes out. So to make, and then at the end of the day, that person wants to put money in their pocket, right? For their family, correct?
Yeah.
So
I think that if you put a cap on profit, you could do it. Yeah.
Okay, so guess what? They should put a cap on. You should not be able to make the money you're making. Businesses should be able to.
I agree with you. 100%.
Okay, so businesses should cap what you're able to make a year.
I think that if we're capping profit share, I'm fine with that. But you're forgetting that I'm a socialist. So
okay, hang on. So they cap. Let's say all of a sudden they said, "All right, going forward, right? We're going to pay you half of what you currently make, and then that way we can now pay everybody. Everybody's going to make, say, $60,000 a year. Right? Everybody across the planet, everybody in the United States, if you have a job, no matter what you do, you're making $60,000 a year. Right. Period. Okay.
I don't think it should be even that way because of risk factors. Because of risk factors.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
It has to be a factor. No, it has to be a factor, and here's why. Because even in your McDonald's example, where they have insurance and they're going to be all these rising costs, there is money lost in other places. There's money lost in employees being sick or calling out as a result of having to have multiple jobs and having to live. There's money in retraining and rehiring staff.
We're not going to have to do that no more. People are not going to have multiple jobs because they're going to be making $60,000 a year.
Exactly, and that will be a savings to the franchise owner and a savings to McDonald's overall.
So, everybody makes $60,000 a year. It doesn't matter what you do. Everybody across the United States they're making $60,000 a year. Period. Right?
I think if we're mitigating the risk along with that, and we're mitigating everything else across that,
What risk?
Well, for example, if you're an Alaskan crab fisherman, right? Like that's supposed to be like the dangerous catch is based on the fact that that's super dangerous.
Sure.
Okay, so based on the fact that it's super dangerous, that means every time you do that job, the risk of you dying is high. Therefore, you should be doing that job ideally less and still make $60,000, right?
Okay,
And I
well,
think
so,
that's
all
what
right,
most people
all
who
right.
do that do.
Hang on,
But
hang on.
yeah, yeah,
But what about the guy that's climbing the electrical poles to restore power?
yeah, him too. That's what I'm saying. I think it should be the
Oh,
risk,
okay.
the risk factor. That's why I said the
Okay.
risk has to be taken into
Okay.
consideration.
Okay.
Just
so,
like I'm not saying
hang on.
doctors should make more than average people, but
what about, okay, so what about the guy that's working in a factory that is assembling boilers, huge boilers, that have to be pressure tested? If it explodes because of some structural structural issues, it could blow up and kill everybody in the
yeah, that guy should probably working different hours than everybody else because his job requires more risk. So he's taking less of a risk.
Okay, so so now we're going to differentiate. Okay, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Because between risk levels, sure.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have but then all of a sudden now we have disparity.
We have more slots where we have more people that we need to hire as a result of these people who can't work as many hours.
Okay, so guess what? So here's the problem. So now we got teachers that are making $60,000 a year. They went to college, got a degree and everything. And we have a guy over here at McDonald's that's making burgers that didn't go to college, is making $60,000 a year. Do you think that, what do you think that's going to do?
I think it'll mean that more people will end up in the jobs they actually want to do rather than the jobs they have to do. I think that if I'm gonna make the same amount of money, I'd rather work with kids, right?
What I'm going to tell you is all of a sudden you're going to kill the job industry in the United States.
I don't think that's true.
Colleges will shut down.
I think I think education should be free, but in either case, I don't think that's true as a result of the time people do things like volunteer regularly.
All right, so now, okay, fine. We'll make colleges free. No problem.
Yeah, sure.
So a person goes to college. They get their doctorate.
They work McDonald's while they're in college. They leave college.
They get their doctorate degree, right? They're they go out here and they're going to be a mental health specialist, and they're going to help people through therapy. All they can ever make is $60,000 a year, period. Never another dime. You think people are actually going to do that?
I think some people will.
When the person right down the street who never went to college goes right out of high school, goes right into working at McDonald's, and they're making $50,000 a year. Do you think
that pay is the only difference between those two jobs for the people doing them?
Yes.
I don't agree with you. I think that there's a lot of people who wouldn't be doctors. I agree that there are a lot of people who wouldn't be doctors. I think there's a lot of people who would if they could.
Let me say this. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
You're always going to have that outlier, right? That goes into the
profession. Not an outlier. This is America. What do you mean this is an outlier? People come here to live.
Are you going to let me finish? Are you going to let me finish? You going to let me finish my statement?
I guess if I have to. It's just your show. But.
You're always going to have the outlier, right? That goes into the profession because they have a desire or a calling to do it, be it a psychiatrist, be it a teacher, be it a medical doctor, whatever, right? You have people that go into those professions because that is something they deeply desire to do, right? And money has
little or nothing to do with it.
Is an afterthought, right? It's the actual career itself, right? The vast majority of Americans go into doing something because it is about money. That's why they're doing it. It's not because they want it as a career path. It's like, this is the maximum yield of return on earnings for me. I can go and do and make money. That's why they go into it. And if all of a sudden you put out there, everybody's going to make, okay, so then so you're no longer going to have people that's going to go into the teaching field. We already have a shortage of teachers, right? So you're going to have even less teachers.
I don't think that that's true if you cap everything, but it's like there's too many variables here to really consider. But to that factor, I will also say that we just interact with vastly different people also, because I don't know if you realize this. I didn't go into what I do because of the money. Yes, I want stability, and I absolutely climb using money because that's kind of the lane that I was pushed into.
But let's go back to your thing about capping profits for corporations, because they shouldn't make over X. Do you understand by capping that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then saying, okay, well, employees, everybody makes a basic living wage or whatever, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm telling you that won't work.
Why?
It doesn't even work in the quotes. All right. So you take some of these countries that are socialized, right? Socialized countries, which was kind of where some of this
just like 2 or 3,
kind of started, right?
Yeah.
Even in those countries, right? People make different wages.
Right. They do,
right?
yeah, I know.
There's still incentives.
No, we were talking about hypothetical where everyone
There
makes the
are
same.
still
There is variation, but
there are
there's
still
less.
incentives. There are still incentives for people to aspire to go into different professions to make more money. Right?
Right.
And
But this is also based on an ideology.
And listen, I'm sorry, right? But a teacher with a 4-year degree, college degree, should make more than a person who's flipping a hamburger at McDonald's.
Well, sure.
Or running a cash register at a grocery store. Right?
Yes, I think those jobs were never intended to be for people who were trying to make a living wage, right? They were intended for people in high school and college to make enough of a living to survive college. And now there's people having to work those jobs, whether they be secondary jobs or whatever, because profit shares have increased, which salary hasn't, in a way that salary hasn't.
I don't disagree with you that those jobs were never intended to be the primary wage provider for a household. Right? Secondary, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Primary, no. I agree with that, right? But that's all but that's what there is.
Yeah.
Right? We can't so if that's what it is.
But it's not all there is. There's other options that they could have if they could have gone to college, which they can't afford. Like there's so many different factors affecting this thing. What is the baseline argument here? And then, because I have to finish packing, but we should get back on track. So my argument in the beginning of this was you're making fun of all these college kids for their highly specialized degree. And my big argument, which is completely lost here.
Stupid degrees.
Maybe. Well, I think that it's only as stupid as what you end up doing with it. So I don't think we can say. And I think that one should consider that a general degree means you also have a lot more competition. But guess what? If you have specialization in what did that kid say? Decolonization or whatever the hell.
Queering and decolonizing theater practice.
Yeah, okay. I forgot how incredibly specific that was. Okay. So that one, I agree with you. There's going to be like 5 jobs that person can get. However, if that person is intelligent and resourceful,
you're being generous.
They'll be able to
maneuver. You're being generous.
But we have to, because this is the future of America right here. And I'm saying that when I left college, I was very idealistic, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be able to do this, that, and the third. And then life smacked me across the face and said, that's not what's going to happen. And if you want to be able to survive, you're going to have to work a lot harder. And then eventually you'll reach a point where you don't really have to physically work that much at all, while you see other people who are trying to raise like 6 kids on a McDonald's salary have to struggle. I don't think those were choices. Either.
But that's choices they made.
But there's still people that I care about.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they don't.
They make choices.
They make choices and they have to live with those. They make choices and they have to live with those choices.
Right, but they affect me because we live in a society.
How do they affect you?
Because one way is that by working these jobs, they end up getting sick more. They eat shitty food that's also bad for them, which also makes them sick more.
Choices.
This tastes bad of health.
Choices. See, that's the problem. Hang on. Whoa. They make choices that snowball.
Riv,
And
how much is a salad at McDonald's? How much is a salad at McDonald's?
if you're going to fucking McDonald's for salad, what is even that to begin with?
That's some people's only option. In a city like New York, there are these things called food deserts where finding fresh fruits and vegetables is not an option. There is no option, and even if you
choices. Okay. If they choose to live there, they have to live with the choices that they make. And that, guess what? That ain't my fucking problem, and I don't fucking care. Period.
Well, that is the problem with America right there. That is the problem with America, that you don't care. Whereas
why should I? Explain to me why I should care.
Because they're Americans too, because they affect you, because they're people who deserve to live a normal life.
All right. So when I'm driving down the road, and I pull into and I pass these people, who have the cardboard sign saying "Hungry, help me," and they make the choice to go out there and stand on that street corner.
Right.
8-10 hours a day. Panhandling. Versus going and getting a job right next door at the McDonald's that says looking for employment.
Dude, let me tell you.
Tell me why I should fucking care.
Let me tell you why. I've worked jobs where we've had some employees who are, let's say, unhoused employees. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people who are unhoused, they're not mentally well. And when you have to work a normal job with these people, like when I was in college and worked an hourly job, like, could she do the job? When she actually did the job, she did it well. However, once a day or every other day, she had these weird little episodes that none of the rest of us could understand. And like, I'm not saying it was because she was homeless, but I think she was homeless as a result of those mental issues. And that is the case with a lot of people. A lot of homeless people are also vets, which in general, I think we take really shitty care of our vets. And it's because people say, well, why should I care about vets? Why should I care about them? And you could say, well, because they fought for this country. But I didn't send them to war. Why should I care about them? Because they're people, because they're Americans, because they fought for a country, I think. But all of those things. I think that if we had these kind of things in place, if mental health care were available, then maybe. But you can't tell me that every single homeless person that's doing that is somebody you would want working the cash register at McDonald's or making fries or whatever. Or like, and
why not?
You must have interacted with these people because they're not well a lot of times. If they're medicated, sure, do it. But a lot of them are not. A lot of them cannot do that. Do you think that people are homeless because they want to be? Maybe some of them do, but I don't think that's the majority of situations. I just don't.
I think a lot of them are homeless because of choices they made.
But what were the circumstances that led to those choices?
Don't know,
like,
don't care.
Were they? But you should.
Don't know.
Like,
why? Why should I care? I still haven't heard a reason why I should care. Why? Because they're human? Okay, look.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the exact reason, actually. Yeah.
Here's a shocker for you. Okay.
Yeah.
You and I are in the woods. We come across a bear.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is be faster than you.
I don't see that happening, but okay.
If that means I have to knock you down, then life sucks.
You think I won't grapple you like a howler monkey and take us both down?
No,
you're very
wrong. I don't think so.
First of all, I don't even go into the woods, okay? I'm not an outdoorsy person, so we're already at the wrong premise, but go ahead.
Okay, my point is this, right? I have more sympathy, right?
For the bear?
No, I have more sympathy for a person, right, who is working that 40-hour job, going to school at night to better themselves, right, than I have for a person who's standing behind a counter at McDonald's for 40 hours, and that's it. And all they want to do is bitch and gripe and complain. Because all they're doing is bitching, griping, and complaining. They're not doing anything to level up. Zero leveling up.
I don't know that you can say that, but fine if that's
What
your
do you mean?
base. My base.
I 100% can say that, and I did say that.
I don't think that everybody who makes a lot of money worked hard to get it, and I don't think that everyone who makes not a lot of money did so because they didn't work hard enough.
First and foremost, I don't care how much money somebody has in comparison to me. How much money they have compared to me has zero fucking impact on me. I don't care, right? If the person that I work for makes 10 times what I make, that has zero fucking impact on me.
It does, but okay.
No, it doesn't. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't. Okay? Because I agreed to work for a certain wage, and as long as that person pays that wage, why do I care if he's making more money than me?
Because there's a certain level to which it's unethical for your boss to make orders of magnitude above you.
There is not.
When they're only able to do that because of your labor.
Then you know what?
Then we disagree on that point.
Listen. If I become dissatisfied because I feel like my efforts and energies and what I'm doing is not being justly compensated, and the boss is not willing to give me a raise, I move to another company that will pay me what I'm worth. Right?
And that also costs money and also charges our unemployment system.
Listen,
and it's thinking like that has allowed corporations to abuse their employees to the degree and to the amount that they have.
Listen.
Yeah.
How much money the company that I work for makes has... The only thing I'm concerned about is to make sure they're making enough money at least to pay me my wages. That's it.
Okay, can I counter with a real thing? I actually do care about how much money my company makes, and not because of what we're talking about right now, but because my annual bonus is multiplied by profit share. So it actually does benefit.
Okay, so guess what?
The company makes
I
more
don't
money.
get
However,
I don't get profit share. I've never gotten profit share, so I don't give a shit about any of that.
Well, that's because the choices, Riv. I must have worked harder than you. That must have been what happened.
Yes, 100%. I don't disagree with that.
That's not what that is not what happened, though.
Sure it is.
That is 100. I can guarantee you that is what happened.
Sure it is.
Okay.
Weren't
you doing all that while raising kids and having a wife and all that? I don't have either of those things.
Okay.
Do you think that I would be able to do as much if I did? Like,
choices.
No, I wouldn't.
Choices. Right?
Right.
I could have I could have chose to do what you did, which is to climb the ladder, get into a white collar position where profit sharing and all that shit. I could have done that, but to do that meant I would have had to have sacrificed things that I was not willing to sacrifice. So choices, and guess what? I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me, or anybody feeling like, oh, well, he should be compensated more, or it's unjust that JiJi makes more than Riv does and she gets profit sharing. I don't care. I absolutely, positively do not care what anyone makes in reference to me. I don't care if somebody makes less than me. I don't care if they make more than me. The only ones I'm concerned with is myself, because that's the only one that I have any control over. Period. If you're making less than me and you're not happy with that wages, then you need to do something to make yourself more marketable so that you can make more money. And I wish you all the best in the world. That may mean you have to make sacrifices. You may have to move. That may mean you have to go and take different training or different skill sets. Whatever it is, I don't care. That's sacrifices that you have to make yourself better, to make more money. It has zero impact on me, and I don't care. And I don't care how much
it does, because of it. We live in a society. If we lived independently, I could agree with you, but because we live in a society and we all affect each other, that's an unfair way.
How does that impact me?
Okay, because people having less money means they turn to the fringes of society. For example, crime rates go up.
JiJi, hang on.
Okay.
JiJi. You make a really good wage, and you have profit sharing based upon profitability of the company that you work for, right?
Correct.
How does that directly impact my day-to-day life. How much money you make and your profitability. None.
Let me tell you how.
Zero.
I can afford to pay $7 for a gallon of milk, and it doesn't affect my income. I imagine that for you or for other people who drink milk, that would be a problem. The fact that I make an absurd amount of money while being a single person does affect everyone equally. Also,
no, it
again,
doesn't.
I'm going to say that these people eating shittier food as a result of making less money does impact us. Them being unhealthier does affect us. And I think a society and a country is only as good as its most vulnerable people.
Hang on.
So I think it's a factor. Yeah.
If those people
are
only able to buy processed food, crappy food,
right,
because of their income levels,
right,
then they need to make choices to directly impact their lives to make more money so that they can buy fresh produce and better food quality. They have to make those choices. They have to make the sacrifices to get them there. Whether or not I'm paying $7 a gallon of milk or you're paying $7 a gallon of milk, it's irrelevant. They have to make choices because this is what it is, right? It doesn't matter if I think, well, $7 a gallon of milk is too fucking much money. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because I don't own a grocery store and I'm not competing with the grocery store. Now, if I had a grocery store and I was an entrepreneur and I was making a grocery store and I had employees and whatever, then, I might say, hey, you know what? I personally am okay with making less money at the end of the year by selling products at a lower price so that the people, because I feel like I will be able to sell more at less so that the profitability margins would be there. Rather than making $2 per jug of milk, I can make $1. And I feel like I'll sell twice to 3 times as much. So therefore, I'll make more money in the long run, right?
I think this lack of care in society is highlighting the differences between why blue states vote blue and tend to have higher populations, and red states vote red.
Do you know why? You know why they have higher populations in those states?
Because there's more industry.
No, it's because
because there's a lot of people where they landed when they came here. Also, it has a lot to do with that.
Do you think maybe also too that those blue states tend to have more social programs in place to give them free stuff? So it's more, they're more inclined. You don't think so? Okay.
I don't think so, no.
All right.
I think there's a lot of the things that you're talking about are federal, so they're available anywhere. However, most of those people, firstly, it's not mostly like immigrants who are taking advantage of them. It's people who don't need them.
Hang on. Here's a little shocker for you, right? You're right. A lot of the monies and stuff comes from federal, right? But they're governed and handed out based upon state policies. Right?
Yeah.
And this is something that I know because I asked my wife about this, right? She says because they'll have people that will move from northern states, like say Illinois or Ohio, or maybe they'll come in from like New York or whatever, and they'll come in and they'll file for the SNAP program, which is a federal program, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden their SNAP proceeds are greatly diminished, right? And they're like,
you probably mentioned SNAP is the food program that allows people to get food if they don't have enough money, like fresh food.
Correct. Right. And I said, well, hold on. I was getting X amount of dollars in SNAP up here, but I'm only getting less down here. It's the same federal program.
Right.
Right. And so the answer is, well, yeah, but the SNAP
cost of living is different. Yeah.
Why does that matter?
Because the price of milk in New York costs more than it does in Arkansas.
JiJi. It's a federal program. It's federal dollars. Why does it matter?
Because the cost of milk in Arkansas costs less.
It's federal program. It's federal monies. It's all federal monies. So why does it matter?
Right. Because the amount that is distributed to each person is going to be different. And the amount, I assume, that is distributed to each state, I also imagine is based on that state's GDP. So I would imagine that Texas, the people are getting less money, but the amount that Texas is getting is still the same relative to its population as, say, New York or Illinois.
But my point
it's about how much they're giving the people based on
but it's all
cost
federal
of living
money.
in that area.
It's all federal monies. Why should it matter? Why should it matter? Why should it matter?
Because the point of the money is for people to buy food. And if they're expecting that I'm going to give you $50 because that's what it takes to buy what we think is a household of food in Arkansas, $50 is like 2 items in New York then it's not serving the purpose. That means that New York, it federally might not be getting more money than Arkansas, but the the people are getting more money, which means they can help less people than a place like Arkansas overall. Like it is a big the greater good versus the individual good situation. Also, we've gotten really off topic. The basis is, I understand why these people's decrees are stupid. I think they do need to learn how to market themselves, but all we've done is highlight the big old differences between a northern I'm not a liberal, but well, for the sake of this conversation, we'll say that. And and it's I would be more than happy to take a pay cut if it meant that I had to see less homeless people on my way to work, for example, or the kids in high school all knew how to read. I would love that. I would happily take a $40K pay cut today if that was the case.
Well, here's an idea.
Yeah.
Take that $40K and just give it to the homeless people on the streets. Did you come out? Give them each $1,000. Go around to 40 people. Give them $1,000 and say, "Hey, here's $1,000. Get off the street. Here, go get you a place, and and just say, be here every month."
If that $1,000 was enough to actually give them the health care that they need and any of that kind of stuff, maybe.
Okay, fine. So rather than 40 people, just find one person. Say, "Hey, here's $40,000 to live off for a year, right? So go get you a place. Be back here this same time, this same place next year. I'll give you another $40,000. Just do that. Just give them the money."
Isn't that what all these rich people are doing with their kids, though?
You're
just giving them the money. They're not.
Okay, here's the thing. You're feeling guilty. You're saying you're willing to give the $40,000. Then go do it.
It's not about guilt. It's not about the guilt. It's not about the guilt. It's about what our society. It's about
what
our society can support.
Hang on.
Yeah.
You want to affect change? Then take $40,000 of your salary.
I also didn't say that.
You said you were willing to take $40,000 less if you did not have to see homeless people on the street. I'm telling you, affect change. Take $40,000 of your salary and find a person and give them that $40,000 annually as long as you have that job to keep them off the street. They don't have to work. They don't have to live
but
on
it
the
wouldn't
street.
necessarily keep them off the street. It wouldn't necessarily. Firstly, $40K of my salary wouldn't be $40K to them, right? Because taxes are still a thing. But two, because $40K in New York means you're still living on the street.
No, but you're moving to hang on. You're moving to Texas. So the cost of living is less money, right? So still,
but my salary is still a New York salary.
Okay, fine, even better. So you take that. Take $35,000. We'll talk $5,000 off the top for taxes and shit. We'll take the $35,000. Find a homeless person. Give them that $35,000 annually, so they can live off of that in Texas. They can find an apartment.
If that can guarantee that I will never see a homeless person, then I would.
You see one less.
But society.
That's one less person you have to see.
We're talking about
you got to start somewhere.
Change.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I think we start at the top.
You could be the catalyst. No.
Yeah.
Change always starts at the bottom. It doesn't start at the top. You could be the catalyst. So
What about trickle-down economics? Economics? Oh, because when it's time for employees to give money, then it starts at the bottom. But when it's about
to affect change,
then it's about the top. That's why our federal government gives more money to corporations as opposed to individual people, right? That's why the government agreed to do that.
JiJi, you want to affect change. You want to affect change.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay, so you said.
I never said I want to affect social change, and I would be willing to take.
You said I would be willing to give up $40,000 of my annual salary to get homeless people off of the street, so I don't have to see them.
Correct. So that would be taken federally.
Hang on.
Put into social programs.
Hang on. But but when you do that, it gets ate up by red tape and bureaucracy. You're bypassing all.
Eventually, that'll actually make a difference.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
Yeah, it will.
So it won't. Because none of the
Okay,
homeless
then
people actually
explain
get
to
anything.
me why
None of
the
homeless
U.S.
people ever get
government gives tax breaks to companies supposedly so that they can do this, as opposed to giving money to individual people. Why is that? Why is that the case?
Because then they are enabled then to hire more people.
Oh, because then it matters at the top what you
No.
do. Because then social change comes from the top. Oh, because
That's not social
when
change.
you come from those,
Putting people.
that is social change.
No. But I'm talking about you. You want to give $40,000 to get homeless people off the street.
We've never been talking about me.
But you made the
I would be
statement.
willing. Yes, I made a statement that was specifically tied to what we're talking about. We're talking about I would be willing to make less money if it meant that our society.
Hang on,
better.
stop.
Yeah.
So, if you were to give $35,000, because we're going to take $5,000 off because of taxes.
Yeah.
If you were to give $35,000 to a person annually out of your salary, so that they could survive and live,
that does nothing. That does nothing to change the economic makeup of where I live or my life. Yeah. No, it doesn't.
It does. You know why? Because that's that's one person, right? That's one person that no longer is on any type of.
Okay, then the government should just pay everybody, and we should have universal basic income, is what you're saying.
No,
I agree with you. Yes, you all heard it. He said that we should.
I did not. I said I didn't give a shit about him. No. I said I didn't give a shit.
That's what
I
you're
didn't
saying.
care. I said I didn't care if they were homeless. I didn't care. I wasn't giving them 1 red cent. You're the bleeding heart. You're the one that wants to save them.
I'm not the bleeding heart.
I'm telling you,
this makes more sense economically.
It does not make more sense economically.
Okay, and I also think that people in your economic situation have been forced to believe that we can't do this in order to keep the status quo, which is a lot of what.
To do what? Can't do
this
what?
The idea that the government cannot support its people based on the money.
The government is not supposed to support its people. The government doesn't. Oh, hang on. Tell me something.
The government that is for the people by the people should not support its people. That's interesting.
Whoa. Tell me, what does the government produce? What item does it produce and sell that generates money for them to be able to support the people?
Guns.
They
weapons,
don't. No, they
military.
don't. They do not. They do not. They do not.
No. So why do we care about Israel then?
Okay. So what guns? Tell me. Where's the manufacturing plant that the military has where it's making these guns? Tell me.
No idea. I don't think that's public information.
First of all, they don't. The federal government doesn't manufacture anything. They buy weapons from third-party private manufacturers like Boeing.
From private manufacturers whose only client is the government, and
that's
so
not
can
true.
charge them
That's not true.
astronomical
That's not
fees
true.
to produce
That's
the
not
same
true.
things.
That's not
There
true.
aren't companies
That's
whose
not
only
true.
contractor is the government.
No.
You're telling
No.
me I can name a couple because I've interviewed with them last week. There are companies who make the components for weapons, for jet planes, for tanks, and the only person that they work for is the U.S. government.
So they don't manufacture any other components, nothing. None of the subsidiaries, nothing. Manufacture things that are used in the private sector. None of it.
That's all used for military weapons, military machines, their only contracts are with the government, and there's a bunch of companies like this. Yes.
Okay, so they're feeling so those companies are
charging the government more than they would if the government actually owned them.
All right, but the government is not manufacturing anything, right? All they do is consume. The government consumes. They buy. That's it. Right.
Because they filter money through these third companies when they
no.
themselves.
They get them. Wrong. They get the money from people like you and me who pay taxes. That's it. They don't manufacture anything.
So they take our tax money to pay private companies to make the guns and weapons that are used in our wars. And that is the only thing that some of these companies do. And these companies can charge whatever they want because they're specialized. And our tax dollars are paying for that, as opposed to doing things like helping the housing crisis or the homeless crisis. And if the government had their own factory, as opposed to these private companies who can charge whatever, then they don't have to make a profit.
Stop word vomiting. Back up. So what is it that the government is supposed to do to solve the housing industry?
What do you mean?
I don't know. What do you mean? How do I mean? You said that they're not doing anything to solve the housing industry.
No, I think they are now. I think they're starting to.
What? Yeah. What do they do? You think? So what do you think that
They
they're
are
doing?
building more low-income housing, for one.
The government
applying
doesn't
more
build.
tax credit
Well,
for owning.
excuse me.
Yeah.
The government doesn't build anything. The government doesn't manufacture anything. You have to get past this thought that the government does anything. They don't.
Okay.
What they do is they take your money and my money and other taxpayers' money, and they pay private owned corporations to do things. Make weapons of
That
weapons.
you don't know enough about this, and maybe I don't know enough about this, and we should probably just move off the subject because we're not going to get anywhere. I don't think you're correct about what you're saying. I could probably pull up some things, but anytime we've tried to do that, it has not worked out.
I can tell you right now, unequivocally.
Yeah.
Without with zero.
No, I know.
With zero hesitation that the federal government, right, does not build one house.
I think the federal government keeps some companies fully paid for such that they might as well be government companies, because if they lost their government contract, that company would fully go under. And because it's a private company,
but they're not
can charge
owned,
more, which is
but they're not owned by the federal government.
They're not owned because of different policies that are in place by the government that were put in place by lobbyists and corporations to do this. This is about policy, and this is why we're not going to agree. You're saying the government doesn't build anything. The government does. It does it through private contracts that they put into companies. Well, those are privately owned. They might be on paper privately owned, but all of their profit comes from the federal government, which means it comes from our tax dollars. So it may as well be, is what I'm saying. And since we're not going to, neither of us have numbers on that, right? Do you have numbers on that? No. Okay. So we should, not because we're not going to agree. You don't care about people. I do. I'm willing to make less so that some people can survive. You're not. That's, I think those are our political lines, and, that's where it lays. There's nothing you can tell me that is going to make me believe that the company should be making the kind of money that they should be making while there are people in America starving to death. There's no reason for it, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
So what do you guys think of the new title of the Creator album?
I don't know. I've heard that it's a lot softer than its old stuff, and a lot of people don't love that. Apparently he used to be a really angry guy.
I don't know. There's some pretty angry stuff in that album. I'm not gonna lie. It's a banger though. You know how sometimes they'll do this thing as rappers where they're like, every track on an album like bleeds into each other with the ending and the start of the next song. He does that on pretty much all the songs, and it kind of goes well together. I kind of like it.
I think Who Wants Coffee is something I took to mean Who Wants to Fight Peepaw, and I feel like I've done that today. So I guess I wanted coffee is the moral of that story.
Yeah, so there's this song on his new album, right? That's really, really good, okay? And it's called I Thought I Was Dead, and it's just him saying that 5 million times over and over again, but it kind of slaps.
That sounds awful, Seth.
No, it goes kind of hard.
I thought I was dead 5,000 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's you thought I was dead. They thought I was dead.
They thought I was dead 5,000. I don't think that changes the song, Seth.
Well, it kind of does, because the meaning's a little bit different,
Well, fair enough.
Yeah,
anyways, yeah, I should actually probably listen to the whole thing. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to packing now.
Well,
that
maybe
we're
you
all
can
riled
listen to
up.
that album while you're packing.
Nah, I'm okay. I think I probably need to decompress. Maybe take a shot of vodka early in the morning just to get the edge off a little bit.
Put some smelling salts into your nose. Get you
something like that. No, I could get some Irish cream in my coffee, and then and then nobody will know. I think.
Oh, they'll know.
They'll know.
They'll know.
Listen, if the Irish can do it, I feel like I should be allowed
So
at least the one time.
so what you're saying is you should be allowed to appropriate culture. Okay, got it.
I mean, if they're gonna make Bailey's Irish cream and that's gonna taste really good in coffee, then really they asked for it, I think.
You're not putting that queering degree to good use.
Exactly.
I don't have a queering degree. I have a sociology degree. And I
Same
feel in that
thing.
way, I'm really
crazy.
studying society by drinking Bailey's Irish cream.
I actually
know?
think it's crazy that these motherfuckers have to have a degree in queering. I go to work every day being a queer, and I didn't have to pay money for it.
You know, being queer is hard, and I think they do need to study. You know, they gotta teach them the ways of the queer. I think.
Okay, well, it just comes natural to me being a.
Well,
Jesus Christ, Seth.
that's a very early morning slur. Anyways, I am gonna get back to packing. Thank you for the early morning rumble. I think this is our first public blood sports. Hey, look at that. Yeah.
Blood sports? What are you talking about?
This was blood sports. I think
No,
this was blood sports.
This is not
Yeah.
blood sport. You want to tell you why it wasn't blood sports?
Because we didn't call each other slurs.
I wasn't attacking you personally.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Blood
That's
sports
facts.
is about
Is that-
attacking the person personally. So
See,
where
that's
the
not
blood
fun
gets
then.
drawn. No, that's exactly. It's stupid. So
Yeah.
Well, listen.
Speaking of which, actually, can I bring up
No.
something for you to talk to the people about? No, I
What?
need to. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna
Okay.
say my piece, and I'm gonna go. I happened to catch a stream by a certain person in this community who was outed in this community for being a creep. And he's made a video about a Bo Blacks and how Bo Blacks manipulated the whole situation, and that was the reason that he was outed from the community. So by now everyone knows who I'm talking about. And I'm going to say this, that's not why you were outed. You were outed for being a creep and dating women who were coming to you because of sexual assault issues or sexual harassment issues. That's why the community outed you. Okay? So you can try to make this about Bo Blacks. Did the community think you treated him shitty? Yes, they did.
Hang on.
That's not why you're out.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Pause. Squatchin says you got to narrow it down, JiJi. That covers way too many people.
Talk about Edwin. Edwin and his cope streams. I'm tired of the cope streams. I was like, oh, did something new happen? No, he's literally rehashing the things from a year and a half ago and being like, you see, Bo Blacks manipulated everyone to hate me. No, your dick manipulated everyone to hate you. Your need to hit on women who were coming to you because their boyfriends acted poorly.
Look,
That's why.
I know exactly what you are talking about. I've watched the video.
Cope stream is what it was.
Okay, here's the deal, right?
Yeah.
You have to let me go double check. I'm gonna put your concerns to rest here in about 2 seconds. Hang on here.
Oh no.
Let me find it here.
What's up,
And
guys?
this is not me sticking up for Bo Blacks, by the way, in this case. I'm just saying I can't stand a cope stream.
Okay. All right.
I really can't.
So just to put your concerns to bed here, right?
Yeah.
The Homeboy Edwin channel has 40,000 subs, almost 41,000 subs.
Yeah.
Okay. That video only has 1.8 thousand views. I don't really think you have anything to be concerned about.
I'm not concerned. This person does not concern me. I find it, and I guess this happens all the time. So you're going to be like, this is just the community. My issue is that, like, you were told multiple times by multiple people across multiple streams why people were mad at you. And it was the Bab situation, but it wasn't just the Bab situation. It was the culmination of bullshit that you had been doing that people found out about. So to now come out because
JiJi.
Bo Blacks is on the outs.
JiJi.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I hate a cope stream.
JiJi.
I hate a cope stream. I really do.
You are caring way too much about this.
It was infuriating.
Look, then here's what I would recommend.
Don't watch it. No, you're right.
Bingo.
I don't usually.
There you go.
I don't usually. I'm low on content. The rest of y'all need to be making more videos. Is what this really
What
says.
are you
'cause I'm
talking
just out
about?
of
There's
stuff.
content everywhere.
No, Squatchin's been streaming less lately. I feel like everyone's been streaming less the last month when I really had time to like watch stuff. Really, Nerdy's been streaming a bit more, but he's talking about that Cinny situation, and I
Wall
can't
Smashers.
listen
Have
to
you been
that.
watching Wall Smashers? They've been putting stuff out fairly regularly.
That's only once a week, sir. I listen to that.
No,
quickly.
they put out things, and then they do. I think we've gotten Badwick talked into doing live streams too.
Okay, well then maybe,
So,
but
so there's
still more
that,
content,
right? And I've decided to come out of vacation time,
Retirement.
whatever. It wasn't retirement, it was vacation. It took some time, and I'm gonna start doing my morning streams again.
Well, then now
So-
I won't have to resort to my main page.
But-
This wasn't even my main page. It was an autoplay, and I got real triggered. I can't. It's not okay.
Guess
Can I
what?
also say it's
Guess
not
what?
him? It's
Guess what?
everyone not knowing what
hey,
their
guess
issue
what?
is.
Guess what?
What?
That's
Yeah.
It kind of goes. That's kind of a you issue. It's not a me issue.
Well, that's what I get for being anywhere near commentary. I guess. I
There
guess
you
that's
go.
true.
And there's been
Well,
1,001 videos made on this freaking Mr. Beast shit that's going on. I don't understand how you say there's not anything to watch.
But the Mr. Beast always has a controversy. Like that's not the cancel him or don't. I'm tired of talking about Mr. I like fine, if you have an issue, great, continue your issue. But like,
Hang on, whoa.
That's like at this point, that's like being mad at Logan Paul.
Help me
at this point.
understand
Like,
something. Help me understand
Yeah.
something. You said
Yeah.
I'm tired of Mr. Beast. He's always, and then you wanted to talk about Edwin.
Okay, I wanted to talk about Edwin's cope stream, which is a new thing that happened.
No, it's
and
not.
I would like to
No,
request.
it's not.
Has he been? It's not. It's new to me.
No.
Has he been doing cope streams for a while now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wasn't aware.
Okay.
This is the first one I came across, and it was
Okay.
it was real pathetic, and I really didn't like it.
All right, there you go. There you guys go, guys. JiJi has a problem with Edwin making cope
do.
streams. So there you go. Talk
Yeah.
amongst
I w-
yourselves.
No, I'm not getting into it. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to packing.
Okay, well,
I will.
and-
I will tell you if my life is better in Texas.
Okay.
And we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, you be safe in your travels and your relocation, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to you
All
later.
right,
Bye.
Take it. Bye. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. You know what? Here's an important thing on all that, guys. I want you to remember something, right?
See how I come to work? Very demure. I do my makeup. I lay my wig. I do a little braid. I flat iron my hair. I do chi-chis out. I do viral vanilla. Very demure. Very mindful. It's enough.
That's right, guys. Very demure. Very mindful. Right? That's what we have to do here. We have to be mindful and demure. There you go. So anyway, listen, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this show this morning. And anyway, I will see you guys in the morning. Until then, remember, guys, keep your powder dry. And I'll see you in the funny papers.